Uh-huh. Oh, thank you. That's so sweet. You just made an old man's heart smile. Oh, what did I get on me? I had the cats laying up on me a minute ago. Well, I was kind of getting was going to get some people on tonight to tell them. I'll tell people as they come in and out. One of the reasons why my videos have been kind of sporadic lately is that, of course, we've been sick. I was in the hospital for a pulmonary embolism, and then my husband was in the hospital, and we're now having to go through um, putting him on a transplant list. So life is kind of busy right now. Um, I am still making the videos though because I enjoy it. It gives me joy, and that's one of the things that I do to help perk myself up. Is because I work and then I do this, I do that for fun, I do that for other videos. What did I get on my hat? Oh, let's dust that off. I don't know what that is. Let's put it this way. There we go. But liver. He has, there's a genetic disorder in his family. His mom, grandmother, and aunt had it as well. In fact, his mother was on the transplant list, and the day her liver became available, she passed away. So, the good part about that was the liver went to her sister, who was also on the transplant list. So she was able to get the liver. Oh, thank you. I don't know how to say that. Mac cat. Mac cat. We'll go with that. And I'm not sure how good this video is, y'all. Just so you know, I've got the clock, the tube, the gram, all set up here. I feel like I'm doing an interview at the White House. The only difference is I'll be honest about everything. I'd make a horrible politician because I'd get up there and go, "Oh, y'all, this is gonna be bad." I just signed something in, and it's gonna benefit some people, but it's not gonna benefit everybody. It's gonna be bad. I'd be honest about it though. No. But yeah. So we're having to go through all that process now on the transplant list and going back and forth to the doctor and back and forth to the hospitals and trying to make sure we've got everything right. Um, that's it. So have a lot of stuff going on right now. So I am still trying to make my videos. It's just some of them might be a little bit sporadic. So, and if you see me talking here again, the clock, the tube, the gram. So I'm kind of going back and forth, swooping back and forth. Whew, that don't look good. Let me put it back on. It's got that smudge on it, and I don't like that, but all right, how about that? There we go. Mom is doing okay. She's changed a lot. She's having a lot of trouble remembering. In fact, when I go visit her now, it takes her about 20 to 30 minutes to realize who I am. And that's heartbreaking. For your mom to look at you and go, "Now, who were you?" Yeah, it hurts. So, yeah, we got the illnesses here, mom, and life in general. So, fun, fun, fun. Fun, fun, fun. But, here's the thing. Oh, that's okay. Thank you, Allison. That's very sweet of you. Um, yeah, she's a sweetheart. She is a sweetheart. But yeah, I mean, doing the videos, and they've been kind of muted by one of the apps that I'm talking through right now. Kind of keeps them from going out, but it's okay. I've got some people who specifically come to the page just to watch the videos, and I know they may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I have fun doing them. It's one of, I've never been really creative, and this is my creativity, I guess. I get to have fun with it. I get to write the story. I guess that's kind of a control thing. When you don't have control over anything else, you can write a story and have control over that. So I guess that's kind of fun. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Diane. Oh, and y'all, for those of y'all that don't know, Diane, I mean, we're basically like Diane's family. I mean, we grew up together. Like, I'm not going to say how many years we've known each other. Put it this way, I don't think I had started school like at all when we first met. Yeah, so we've been part of it for a long time. Well, thank you so much. And I'm reading the comments. Hey, Laura, how you doing? But yeah, a long time in our area, and the reason why I can say it now is because nobody lives there. A house in Center Point. That's where we all gathered. That's a town in Birmingham area. That was where my grandmother lived, and we all were at her house, all 865 of us, because there was a passel of us. There was a bunch. Because my mother was the oldest of six, and her dad lived basically next door to his brother, who had 7 children. So, and then their sister had 4, and they're all crazy as hell. One of them, cult leader. Then you put everybody together in certain ways. I mean, we were an army of people. And that one of them being a leader of a cult is not a joke. You can look it up, because I've got a cousin who runs a church in an area, and let's just put it this way. I would not want to be associated with it, like, at all. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Terry. But yeah, it's basically a cult. It's basically a cult. Cat in the Hat. Hi, how you doing? I had told some people I was coming on tonight, and one of the reasons was to kind of talk about. I had a lot of people asking why some of the videos have been sporadic coming out, and it's just because we've had so much stuff going on in the family. You know, me being sick, my husband having to be put on the transplant list, my mom being sick. Oh, thank you for the roses. You don't ever have to do that, by the way. I'm not one of those that could say, oh, send gifts and do that. No. They are always appreciated, because when they get to a certain point, we do a live and talk about the different charities that we can donate money to. Oh, thank you, Diane. That's sweet. Very sweet. But yeah, here's my thing. I see it this way. I mean, I have a job. My husband has a job. We are better off than some and worse off than others. So there's always room to help other people. Aw, well, thank you so much. That's sweet. That's sweet. Hey, Forrest, how you doing? Forrest Dumps. Hello, everybody. got some people coming in. Oh, by the way, y'all, if y'all haven't followed us on the tube yet, do me a favor, pop over there and get it if you don't mind, because it's free. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us out. The Blue Dot in the Christian of Alabama stand. Yep, same here. Same here. I had a friend of mine tell me one time um, that I was an enigma because, I'll sit and talk religion with you all day. I mean, I was raised in the church. I can discuss it with the best. Oh, Bloodsible. Bless your heart. I'm going to pray for you. But no, I grew up in church. And so I can discuss it and be happy to discuss it with people. Mama's blood. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Diane, I found out something really, really cool that we didn't know. Growing up, and this is not politically correct, y'all. Oh, hey, Sarah. I feel better. This is not politically correct. We grew up because if you saw my grandmother and my mother and the other people in our family, hey, Witchy Big Bro, how you doing? They, oh no, I'm so sorry. Diagnosed with cancer. I'm so sorry. Well, you know what though? Nowadays they've got so many treatments for it. It's not like it used to be. Used to somebody get that diagnosis and it was just basically prayers going up. But nowadays there's so many treatments for it. And I have faith that you're going to do good. But we were always told that no problem, bud. For that, hey, we were always told that because my mom, my grandmother, all of them, black hair, almond eyes, dark skin. I'm see through. I'm clear, blonde headed, blue eyes. But there was one of us in each generation, each family. My Aunt Helen was one, and then me, blonde headed, blue eyed. But we were told that we were Indian. Well, my mother did a DNA test, and hers was one of those websites, and it came back, and there was no Native Americans. And then we did mine, and mine was more in depth. I'm doing better. I'm doing a lot better with you, big bro. I watched your video the other day. That's about the. I'll go into it in a minute. But about we were told Indian. Well, like I said, that's not the politically correct. But back then they didn't say Native American and all that. But I did my DNA test, which went more in depth, and found out that we were descendant of Indians from India. From India. Those are the Indians that we were. And it's still not politically correct, but it was true. So we've been told all this our whole lives. And then when I found out, I'm like, we're not Native American. Then found out that, oh, thank you, Forrest. Screenflow, we found out that we have no Native American in us at all. But we did have Indian in us, South Asian Indians from India, that we were from. And I started looking at pictures of people from the areas that it said, and I was like, oh my God, I can see, family resemblances from other people. Now, me, I came, we also had German and all that. In my family, we had, for the darker complexions, we had South Asian, we had Hispanic, and I say, well, from South America, I think from Mexico, from Spain. We had even 66 generations back, somebody from Nigeria. Again, I'm not even white. You can't classify me as white. I am clear. I am translucent. But yeah, so it was pretty cool to find all that out. I thought that was really, really cool. So yeah, but yeah, we grew up being told that we were had Indian in us. Not a bit. Not a bit. We had South Asian in us. Oh, that's me too. I mean, there was so many. You looked at my mixture, and it was what people, the United States was supposed to be. We're the um, melting pot. 18% African. Well, here's the thing. I mean, there is, unless you are from a tribe or a village someplace that has never been exposed to outside people, you're not going to be 100% anything. I mean, seriously, there's just not going to be 100% anything. We are a mixture of um, of everything. I mean, we're just mutts, all of us. It's just what my dad used to say, Heinz 57, talking about the dogs being mutts or mixtures, and that was us. Absolutely. And I like it that way. Scottish and Irish. Um, but we were, I think what I find the coolest about it is you can find a common denominator with people from all over the world. Again, clear, but I have ancestry that was from India, so that was cool to me. Um, and then to find out that we had people from. Now I've got some people in my family who we're just going to say enjoy being white. Um, and them finding out, because believe me when I tell you, I told them first when I found out that we had a mixture of everything in us. I immediately went to them and went, "Oh, look, you know how racist you are against these people. Well, look at these results here. It seems that we're them. We're the same as those people. Isn't that hilarious?" Yeah. So, uh, but that was my joy in life, is to torment the other ones. I was the baby of three, you know, and I reserve all rights and privileges that come along with that title. I was the youngest of three. Grandkids go, I was about midway, because we had grandkids just all over the place. Yeah, um, and it's amazing to me. Um, I've got a cousin now. This cousin was on my dad's side, and I've got a cousin who is. I'm talking about. he he is white pride, all this kind of stuff, and I mean, be quick to tell you, and talks about how horrible all the other races are, and then you go, wait a minute, how many times have you been in jail? You've been in jail several times, right? How many times you been married? Oh, what were the charges? Yeah, domestic abuse, all that. I don't think that's like the pot calling the kettle black there, literally, because you're a crappy person. I'm not sure I would be pointing out anybody else, because you are kind of a piece of poop. But I've been told I'm not supposed to talk like that in church. So, Dan, did you ever go to the homecomings at the church where we ate on the ground or outside? I don't know if you ever did that, because that was more on Dad's side, but Mama came a lot. By the way, that was what my grandmother was called, y'all. I'm very Southern. Mama. Mama. Yep. Yep. We went to a little country church that when they had homecoming or decoration, everybody came and they ate outside, and we had these big long concrete tables, and people just ate and had. It was pretty fun, a bunch of kids running around. Um, However, now this was the same church, that because I was born and raised in that church, and I was christened in that church. It was a Methodist church. Um, I was christened in that church. So when my son was born, we took my son to the church and told to the preacher and said, "Hey, we would love to have him christened. We get that, this is the South and it's two men." And the preacher told us, "No, what? Are you kidding me? You want to dedicate your child to God? Absolutely. Come on, we gonna do it." Cool. So we had my son christened at the church. It was beautiful. We went up and stood before the church and all that. And then the next week, the church had a meeting and fired the preacher who did that, closed the doors, pulled themselves out of the Methodist conference so they'd never have to do an abomination like that again. And I was related to half of them. Yeah. So because we christened our son there, they fired the preacher, closed the church, and reopened it as a non-denominational so they could decide what happens then. So yeah, praise the Lord. But that's just gives you salvation right there, doesn't it? So yeah, that was one of the experiences. Oh, Grandpa, Mama, I'm old enough to be one, but I'm not one yet. But I'm assuming we've joked about it and said that since I'm Puppy, that I'll probably be Papa, and he'll be Granddad because he's Dad and I'm Puppy. I don't want like my family. We had Memo, we had Big Daddy. We had a grandmother who was actually a great grandmother, and we had a nanny who was a great 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 grandmother. The women in my family lived to be like 100. The men died off at like 54, and I'm 54, so here's looking at you, kid. But yeah, so the women had made it a long time. And let me tell you something about my grandmother. We had to make her stop playing football with us when she was in her like 60s and 70s because she would still tackle and we would play touch football. So we would say, Mama, you can't tackle us because that's first of all, you ain't never been tackled till you've been tackled by a 68-year-old woman who'd take you down, cut you off at the knees. But yeah, so we always would joke with her and say, no, you can't do that. You can't tackle us. But she would. She used to play karate with us. She broke her foot one time because she was tried to do a snap kick and kicked her coffee table. So I brought her and my mom to my house that I live in now, and I had a rice bed, and it sat very high. For me to get on it, I had to hop up on it. My mom, who's 5'3", my grandmother, who's 5'2", something like that. I told him, I said, well, I'll get you a little step stool and we can, y'all can step on it so you can share the bed. My grandmother said, I don't need it. She walked down the hall and I thought, what is she doing? She's going to get a chair. What is she doing? And all of a sudden I heard running and I looked and my grandmother come running down the hall and dove onto the bed. Hey, Adrian, how you doing? I'm doing clock, tube, and the gram. So that's why I'm looking different at different points. But yeah, she was and I'm telling you haven't been tackled till you've been tackled by a 68-year-old woman. She'll take you down. But and then my mom, I've told this story on here before, literally fought a bear. When I was born, I was just I wasn't even a month or two old, and they'd gone camping, and in the Smokies, in the Appalachian Mountains, and Mom was out like cleaning up around the campsite. My dad was over chatting with somebody next door on the campsite, and my brother and sister were off playing somewhere, and they said they heard Mother scream, and when they turned around and looked, a bear was going in the tent where I was asleep. And oh, cool. And they could see Mother running into the tent with a broom, and she goes into the tent. The thing flaps, bears, and they see And my dad's running over there, and he said he was thinking the whole time, she's dead. The bear has killed her, ate the baby. It's going to be bad. It's going to be bloody when I get there. Well, all of a sudden, the tent flaps just burst open, and the bear comes running out. And my mom's behind it with a broom, just going bam, bam. The bear's screaming and trying to get away. And mom chased it a good couple of campsites down till they called her. Um, and they had, oh, thank you, feed my soul. Um, but the park ranger said he thinks that the bear, first of all, the bear was one that would come up to eat, so it was used to people. Not that it was safe, but it was not like, a grizzly coming out of the mountains. And so, thought, well, it knew it wasn't really looking to eat people. And then they think that it realized, holy crap, um, this is a mom protecting her baby. I got to get out of here because this chick's crazy. She's just taking on a full grown bear. So the bear ran. Mom whooped up on it. And then the funny thing is, this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago now. We went back to the mountains, me, my husband, the kids, and mom. Every vacation we went on, we took mom. And we got up to the mountains and we were loading the car to leave. Well, I was at the front door of the car. The doors were all open. My husband was here and the kids were standing there with him. And I hear, get in the house. And I thought, oh, Lord, what have the kids done? They've done something. And I turn around and look, and as far as from me to the end of the car, basically, was a bear walking up. So the kids, we were like flinging the kids over the banister at the cabin. And here's my mom, who's now probably 4'10", on a walker, blind, bad knees, yelling, bring me a broom, bring me a broom. And I'm like, Mom, you're not fighting the bear. We got this. Get in the cabin. Get in the cabin, Mom. So, yeah, she wanted to try to fight the bear again. And I'm like, no, you're pass the torch, Mom. Pass the torch. It's time to let the next generation fight a bear if they need to. But just so you know, I'm going to run until I can't anymore. Then there might be a fight. But for right now, let's just run. But yeah, the bears just went on. It's the same things. A lot of these bears have been around so many people. Um, it's almost like they just don't pay you any attention. They just saunter by you, like, is there food there? I'll eat that food. I'll get the food, and I may eat you if you get too close. But you know, but yeah. So Mom was really trying to fight a bear in her late 70s. So I called everybody on the way home. It was so funny too. We're on the way home, and I was asking uh, my phone, and you all know the name to say. If I say it now, it'll mess up. So say, hey, what's the weather going to be? And it there was a glitch. And it said the weather, and I'm like, oh, my Lord! I said, I think she's had a stroke. And we go on like miles and miles, and we're all talking about something. And Mother said, Jeffrey, I need to know how's Sherry doing? And I'm like, I, I have no clue, Mom. Um, I'm not sure. Who are you talking about? Sherry. I'm like, be more specific, Mom, because I'm not getting what you're laying down here. What are you talking about? She said, Jeffrey, you were talking earlier about Sherry having a stroke. I'm like, no, Mom, that's not what I said. That's not the name I said. So that was the funny part on the drive home. But I told everybody, called my brother and them and told them, said, Mom tried to fight a bear. What? Yeah. We stopped her, but she tried to fight a bear. So yeah. Well, I will absolutely tell you this. Until I had kids, I always heard people talk about, maternal instincts and protecting children and, that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it exists. Uh, but the first time I realized it, I was in my car and had the baby in the back seat, um, still months old, in a car seat, face the other way because that was the way you're supposed to put them in there. And a car kept trying to come over me, and I was honking my horn to let them know. And in my mind, I was thinking, dude, you don't understand what I'll do to you if you cause me to have an accident with my child in this car. You're acting stupid. If you make me have an accident, there is no place safe for you. I will find you. And when I do, it's going to be like a Liam Neeson moment because believe me, I do have skills. I am a nurse. I know where to cut. Okay. So don't. I've got my child in the car. Have y'all seen those videos where they're asking moms, like, would you kill to protect your child? No, no. And I'm sitting there thinking, I would to protect my child, to protect your child, to protect a child. I have no clue who they are. But if I saw somebody trying to hurt a child and that's how I could stop them, I'm going to jail, y'all. Or I'm going to be in court anyway, because I plan on, yeah, I know without hesitating. I have done it as a nurse. I have stepped, well, I mean, I haven't taken anybody out. I have stepped between people and a child, a parent, that kind of thing. And I knew, well, if you put hands on them, you'll lose your job. Okay. Do you want my badge now? I'll give it to you. Here you go. Here's my badge. Because I've told one, listen, if you touch them, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to lose my job. I'm going to lose possibly my nursing license. And I am going to lose my freedom because I can guarantee you I am not afraid to go to jail. If it's protecting someone, okay. Did you do it? Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. I did it. I did it. Well, you hit him in the head with a crowbar like 18 times. Yeah, my arm got tired. I was trying for that 19th swing, but I just couldn't get it there. I just couldn't. I mean, I was trying. That shoulder, I'm not as young as I used to be. But no, I mean, no. I I think that's one of the things that makes me so mad when people make these outrageous claims about gay parents and things like that is um, because most of us, and I'm not saying there are not bad parents on this side of the rainbow, okay, because there are. Um, it's like anything else. There's bad people in anything, but we wanted children for so long, and we're so afraid that we couldn't get them that, like with mine, oh, I have no problem. Did like that? Y'all remember Daryl, the one that drove through the parade up in Washington and ran over children and older people and all that kind of stuff, and then wanted to pull the sovereign citizen crap in court. Um, Mine is, aw, Lindsay. Well, I'm glad. Y'all send me. Hold on a second, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't know how to do it on here. Send me a message. Send me a message so I can add you. I don't know how to do it on here. If you're not added, we may already be added. If we're not, send me a message. And I'm adding you, period. And him. Tell him I said what's up. Um, but oh yeah. That's my thing. I got one when he was 9. Sorry, y'all. I got one when he was 9, and he's in his 20s now. Um, if he called me right now and said, "Hey, somebody's after me. Where you want me to be at, son? Where? Meet me. Start driving this way. Start driving this way. I'm gonna drive. You drive. We're gonna meet. When we meet, when you see me, pull to the side because I'm pulling over with you. And when I say go low, hit the ground, because I'm telling you, here's the thing. I was raised by a dad who was almost a survivalist. My aim is true, okay? Just so you know. Just so you know. Remember that the song about the night the lights went out in Georgia? When she don't miss when she aims her gun. That bow and arrow. Uh, well, I got my throwing knives right here. What you got? Let's go. Cause you go after one of my kids, we got to throw down. I'm sorry. I'm going to protect them, and it's just not just them. You know, when I worked at the schools and we had one of those shooter drills, and they didn't tell us there was a drill. Well, I was in a nurse's station. You know, they say close your door and lock it and all that kind of stuff. Well, I didn't have kids in there, and I wasn't fitting to. I was going to ambush. I'm glad they let me know that it was a drill because if the principal had walked past me, I'd have pounced. Boom. I'm just telling you. Um, no, I'm gonna. I don't think that and well, older people, physically handicapped people, mentally handicapped people, whatever it is, uh, people who can't protect themselves the way that the way that others can. Well, okay, I'll help you. We're not gonna play that. No, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. Uh, no. I've had, especially working in nursing homes and stuff. I get real serious when somebody comes up and makes an accusation of abuse or neglect. You have to take every one of them serious, and I do. And I go to the person who, if they accuse you of it, I have to come to you and say, hey, there's been an accusation of abuse or neglect against you. You got to go home. We're going to do an investigation. If at the end of this investigation it is found that you were guilt free, you come back, we pay you for the time missed. If if we find out that you weren't guilty, that you were guilty, then it's out. And it's not, when you talk about abuse or neglect, it's not always just bam, 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 punching somebody, whatever. In a facility, if somebody reaches for something and somebody slaps their hand, abuse, period. You hit somebody. Um, you know, telling them you're going to take something away from them if they don't act right when we're talking about an adult. That is a type of abuse. Um, Not doing something for them, that is neglect. And it's taken very serious, or it's supposed to be taken very serious. I have fired people before because I can't prove they didn't do it. You know, if there's been a couple of accusations against this person and it comes back, no, I mean, what they're telling me rings more true than what you're telling me, and I'm gonna err on the side of caution. Um, I'm gonna make sure they're safe. You see some people, and it this drives me crazy. Don't use patience as clout, showing them. Now, if it's that patient, or if you have somebody who is able to consent and they want to do videos and joke and laugh and stuff, more power to you. I think it is great introducing the geriatric population to like social media. They have fun with it. The filters, the things like that is fun. But there's a lot of steps you have to go through to make sure it's okay for them to do that. They have to be cleared mentally, um, so that them saying, okay, I want to do this, then it's okay to do it. Um, and then there's, just a bunch of different consent stuff. The um, So you can have a lot of fun with it, but when they use it as clout And, it just, that bothers me. It bothers me. Like, there was a video one time where this guy went up to this guy who was drugged out. No, drugged out, had the video camera in his face going, "Look, man, I'm gonna show you this when you're clear headed, so you can see how you are. I'm gonna show you this so you can see how you are." Yet you posted it on social media, so you're not trying to help them. That is, now you're not trying to help them. What you're doing is you're using them as clout, and that's not okay, because they didn't give you consent to do that. You're not actually trying to help them. You blur somebody out so you can't see who it is or whatever, and cool. I mean, I still think it's wrong, but you've at least concealed their identity. But these people who get out there and use people on the streets and homeless people to make videos and get clout, it just drives me crazy. Absolutely crazy. I've sat and watched. The only thing that drives me even crazier than that is like the social media beefs. To me, it's funny. You get somebody on there, and it's usually somebody on both sides that is either very flamboyant, or very, they're in your face with whatever they are, with whatever they do. It's always in your face, and you have them beefing with each other. It's funny. Apparently, there's what's her name, Elphaba, who's English. They're at some kind of war with each other, whatever. It's crazy. So, yeah. But listen, that was one of the reasons why I hopped on tonight, was to say why the videos were coming out a little bit slower. Adrian, I don't know if you're still on here, but my husband's got to have a liver transplant. So we had that to deal with along with all of this. So that whole process. So yeah, it's been kind of rough. So that's one of the reasons why I got on, was to kind of tell people that's what was a hold up on some of the videos. But I am absolutely going to continue making them, because that is my fun.
Can I get some wings? I want some wings.
I don't care.
Are you hungry?
No.
You sure?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's late. I'm not going to get anything, because I'll be going to bed in a minute. I'm an old son. I need my sleep. Shut up. My son called me senile. I mean, it's true, but still, he shouldn't call me senile. I think that's elder abuse. But yeah. So that was it. To kind of hop on and just say, hey, Teresa. That was one of the reasons why that the videos are not coming out the way they were, because it's now a little bit, text. There's a lot more going on at home. So, we got to kind of work through it. I am going to, once it's over, or once the process is going on, because my husband doesn't like to be on camera, so I've never put him on the camera. I've never stuck it in his face. But we will probably, the addition of Hugh here reminds me of my son. I love Hugh. He's one of the fun ones I get to play, because he's so sweet. That's my joy, my fun. I get to enjoy that. I get to have fun with it, and I like that. And like I said, I've never really been creative, and when I'm writing these stories, honestly, it's almost like being kissed by a muse, because I'll start typing, and the next thing you know, there's a story. Now, I'm not sitting here saying I wrote the next best book in the world. No, because it wouldn't even make a book. But it's just fun writing it because the story flows, and I get to see how it plays out, and it's kind of cool. And the truth behind it is, and this is the absolute truth, I got the idea from a dream to start the whole thing. And once I did it, let's see. Oh, they're all up here. I don't know if I can get it down. I've got all of them. Well, not everybody can see it. I have all of them hanging here. All of my characters. Right there. See? So I get to have fun with it. It's cool, and I get to not be me for a minute. I get to be other people, and to live out like a little storytelling fantasy, and it's fun. It's fun to do it, to take a minute to kind of pluck yourself out of your life. And don't get me wrong, I love my life. I met the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. My kids, they'll probably, try to take me out here shortly because they sense I'm getting weaker. But I love my life. But, you have work, you have the life, things that go on, and to pluck yourself completely out of it and be in like a fantasy world where anything is possible. And then having fun with the words and having fun with the special effects and all that. It's just fun. I've enjoyed it. Um, yeah, very important. The and my crown's here. It looks like a three-headed monster is about to bite my head off because I have them hanging up here. Some of my crowns, right there, and more I wear. So, oh yeah, with the reds. Well, now here's the thing with the red videos. Red is inspired by a real person, and there are several things in those stories that actually happened. I'm not allowed to say which ones really happened because legal. But there were, and it was probably be the ones that when you're watching them, you go, no, not that one. That wouldn't be the one he did. It's probably the one I did, because yeah, I get very creative when it comes to things like that, like how to not get somebody back, because I'm not really that kind of person. But in that situation, be like, okay, well, if you're going to be dumb and this is your end result and you're going to try to do this, well, what can I do that's going to use your momentum against you and use your stupidity against you? And then, okay, wait a minute, hold up. Any advice for a first date? Hopefully going on my first official date soon. First date advice for me is be yourself. Because here's the thing, you're going to have to be yourself eventually. So you don't want to put on airs or be someone that you're not, because you don't want someone falling for someone that's not you, because you don't want to have to play a part. So be yourself, be respectful, um, be nice, be open, and talk, because you want to know what they expect, and they need to know what you expect. So when that happens, you be true to yourself, and that way, because if they like you, that's great. But if they don't like you for you, then they don't deserve to be with you. This is the way it is. You're not an option. You're a prize. You're the end result for someone, meaning there's someone out there who is weeding through everybody trying to find someone just like you. So that's when that's the person you need, and it may take you a while to get to them. Now, me, it was different because I lived my life trying to be straight for a long time. It didn't work. It didn't work at all. but I tried. So I didn't come out until I was like 28. And when I came out, the guy and I have been talking. We both are enjoying each other. Yeah, awesome. That's what you need to do. That's what you need to do. Enjoy being friends. Enjoy getting to know each other. I'll tell you, I've had people, one of my biggest jokes is the way that a lot of people still refer to gay couples as, oh, your friend. And I'll tell them sometimes that he is not my friend. No, because here's the thing, there are days that he is better than my best friend could ever be. But then there's also times that I sit and think, you need to get away from me. You just need, but it's not it's not that, it's above a friendship. It's not a friendship. It's above a friendship. And that's what you want for a relationship. But you can also go out with people and go on a date and have a good time. And even if it doesn't work out, you can still, I've got one of my best friends is somebody that we went out on a couple of dates and tried dating, and it just did not work. Gorgeous. I love him to death. Beautiful person inside and out. Crazy as all get out, but again, so am I. But it didn't click. We weren't relationship. We weren't romantic. It was a real good friend, and that's what the honesty part is, to say, I'm not really feeling that. I'm feeling more. I do want to hang out with you. I want us to be friends. Sometimes the other person can't do that, but you know, there and again, that's on them. If you're honest, if you put yourself out there and say, look, I'm either feeling it or I'm not, and you're respectful with it and they're respectful with you, then that's the best you can hope for. So, and then have a great time on the first date. Make it memorable. Do something cool for the first date. That's always fun. Um, it's, my husband's actually on our first date, um, because ours, now keep in mind, our meet cute was very different than a lot of people's. Um, he picked me up. Um, I parked at a Walmart because I really didn't know him, so I wanted to. Um, I didn't want anybody to know where I lived, you know. But we went out to eat, had sushi, and then went to a movie, and then we went to one of the local parks in Birmingham, um, where it is safe to be a gay person and walk around with somebody holding hands, that kind of thing. So that's what we did, and it was kind of cool. So that was it. That was our first date, and I think it was the next day was the only day we spent apart for 6 months after that. We were together every day. So, but we're hopefully going to Perkins in a fun center to play arcade games. Absolutely. And don't let them win. Do not let them win. If you're playing them and they're good and they beat you, be a good sport. And if you beat them, be a good winner. But don't let them beat you, because it sets up this whole false sense of things. Go for it. We don't, and we've always had fun with it, playing games, not really against each other, but we would play games to see who'd get the highest, that kind of stuff. We always had fun with it. So, but be yourself. That's the only thing you can be. As keep on, absolutely, absolutely. You told him he had to try to beat you at skee ball. Go for it. That's the best thing. Best thing. Have fun. Don't let a first date stress you out, because it either is going to click or it's not. And if it doesn't click, you can still have fun. You can still have a good time. But like I said, just be honest with each other and you will have fun. So, and then you got to come back and send me a message and tell me how it went because I want to know. Now I'm invested. We're all invested. We all need to know how the date goes now. And y'all remember I'm doing the clock, the tube, and the gram. And if you don't mind, if you're not, I don't know how you say it, if you're not following me on the tube, please do. We're having some problems on some of the other apps that, like you release a video and they show it to, literally show it to no one for 24 hours. And then you get the first viewer gets it. And you can tell, there's a way to tell when you submit a video, if you go open your own video and you go down to the three dots and you click it like you're going to share it with people, there'll be usually three lines. One will be people that you've shared with, and then the other one will be how to share it with different other people, and then other ones will be settings. That top line, if it's not there, it means it's nobody is seeing it yet. And so they have to see it. They have to release it out there. And they're doing that to a lot of creators right now because they're trying, they're first of all, they're trying to force people to do different kind of videos. And then they're trying to, they promote certain groups of people and don't promote others. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I post a video and it's going to be like, oh my God, there you 1 million people are going to see it and 1 million people are going to like it. No, not at all. 500 people may look at it and nobody like it. They might look at it and go, oh, it's garbage. Okay. Oh, okay. But yeah, so it's, oh, thank you, Adrian. Thank you. But it's one of those that they're not being fair about it, and they don't care. They don't care that you that it's even obvious. Literally, there's been people who've complained. I've been one of them, and the letters that you get back from them, it's basically blatantly in your face. The way they say things back to you, it's not. It's awful. Oh, thank you, the mad mailer. Thank you. Again, everybody knows you don't have to give gifts at all. But they, if you do give a gift, they're appreciated because once the account gets to a certain amount, we have a live and we talk about the charities that we can give money to. Hey, Mike, y'all, if y'all don't know Mike or follow Mike, you need to follow Mike. Okay. 2 things. He posts he posts very relevant material. Doesn't hurt that he's gorgeous while he's telling you that. Oh, my audio is muffled. I'm sorry. It should be good. Now, hold on just a second. Let me change something here. Okay. What about now? Does it sound better? Hopefully that's better. But what I was saying is Mike posts relevant material, informative. I get a lot of information about news because I watch his videos, and the fact that he's just gorgeous. I mean, hey, if you're gonna hear horrible news, you might as well hear it from somebody who's pretty. I mean, that's awful. I shouldn't have said it like that. I mean, it's kind of true, but I still shouldn't have said it like that. Oh, okay. Well, thank you for, I'm always happy to see you, Ann. Thank you so much. You're awesome. But no, I had the video or did the live tonight so I could tell everybody why the videos are coming out more sporadically now. I was in the hospital for a pulmonary embolism. Then my husband had to go in the hospital, and we found out that he has has to be on the transplant list. So we're having to go back and forth to doctors and things like that. So don't get me wrong, I enjoy making videos, and it is my release. It's my hobby. It's my fun. Um, but sometimes life has other things planned, so you have to kind of slow down on some things and pick up on others. But yeah, but yeah, um, so that's what I was wanting to come on tonight and talk to everybody about and kind of tell them about. That was one of the reasons why the videos have slowed down. I don't know what I got on my hat, y'all, and it's pissing me off because I love my hat. Um, but and Mike, I have to tell you, I know people have told you this. It's one of the things is the dimple. It's the dimple. Love the dimple. Love the dimple. It's adorable. Okay, I'm gonna accept you in because I'm about to actually have to hop off, but I want to show y'all what I was talking about. If Mike, there he goes. Look at it.
Hold on 1 second.
All right. But there he is. Look at that.
Sorry.
But
I'm sorry you ran into some bad luck.
Oh well, you know what? I'm an old hospice nurse, and I see it this way. I'm doing worse than some people, but I'm doing way better than others. So hey, I'm breathing. I'm able to sit here and talk to people, so I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. Well, I missed you. I noticed your absence, but I just figured life was probably getting in the way.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's like I said, it is one of the things that I try to say. We're not going to worry about something until we have something to worry about. And so right now we're going through all the processes. It's possible, we with being on transplant list. I've known people who were on the transplant list for 1 month. I've known people who was on the transplant list for 6 years. So you get on there and you just do what you got to do until something comes through, and when it does, you take care of it. So, okay. Now, with you, I have to ask you, because one of my favorite videos of yours, and okay, the video where you were showing the little accident you had where you pulled the back of your trousers down to show that little scratch.
Yeah.
Loved the video, by the way. No, it was funny. It was absolutely funny because what it was is I was looking at you, and I promise you, I could see you channeling my best friend. He's the same way. And to be honest with you, when I was younger and not as ugly, I've had the same kind of thing. Somebody'd go, "How did that happen?" We're not going to ask questions about that, okay?
Yeah.
Like, did I actually see you dancing on a table in Mardi Gras? Are we at Mardi Gras now? We're not at Mardi Gras. It's possible.
What happens at Mardi Gras stays at Mardi Gras.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
would you like to know?
Absolutely.
All right. There's a few things that I can't say because
absolutely.
I became friends with one of my friends was a higher ranking official in Washington than I thought. And so it just happened to be that I was in DC for something else, and I met up with him, and he ended up taking me for a tour. He ended up taking me for a tour in a basement that was connected to another, that had catacombs that went to another building.
Yeah.
And we went through those catacombs, and you had to squeeze through something at the end.
Now, when you say squeeze through something at the end, okay, never mind. I'm with you.
All of the above. But anyway, so I did that.
Yes.
And there was like I didn't bend down. I didn't bend over far enough.
Yes.
And so my ass cut. My ass ran into a nail.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what was bad is the first time I watched that video, I was like, yeah. But then the nurse in me kicked in and I went, I hope he's had a tetanus shot. Have you had a tetanus? You know.
Yeah, no, I thought about it and then it just, other things got in the way.
Life gets in the way, yeah. But
yeah.
I'll tell you what, this is kind of funny with saying the whole nursing thing. My mom, after my dad passed away, got married to this guy who was awful. I mean, he was just awful. Everybody knew he was awful. My mom didn't know he was awful, but he was awful. And he called one day and was saying something to me, and he was just like really going off on me. And he said, well, I tell you what, how about I come down to your house? And I'm thinking, oh, Bubba, all right. So, all right, well, listen, this is what you got to do. Put my address in Google Maps, okay? It's going to bring you to my driveway. When you come into my driveway, just remember this. I am a nurse. I know exactly where to cut, okay? You're not going to walk out. So come on. That's all you got. Come on. So the nursing in me kicks out in good ways and in bad ways at times.
Good.
So
we need those bad ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Because one of the bad ways I was thinking, he needs a bandage on it. I'll put the bandage on it for him.
That's you would.
No, it's just no. I enjoy watching your videos, and like I said, they're very informative, and I like the way that you present the information as well. Because sometimes it's horrible information, but it's something that people need to know, and the way you do it is you're giving the information, but it's not like you're pushing it to say, this is how I feel, so I need you to feel the same way. This is the information. And I've always liked that.
There's some things that that I feel like have been presented to people in ways that are optional that shouldn't be. Like I really don't like the idea of I really don't like the idea of calling homophobia an opinion.
Oh, right.
Because that it makes not being homophobic optional.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the way you're talking about it, right? So the idea that we don't have equal rights or that the Equality Act hasn't been passed yet, all of that is a failure on us from the start of this nation.
Right.
And people don't look at it that way, and we need to.
Yeah.
That's just one example.
Yeah. I mean, and it is absolutely true. Now, I will say this because of my age, I have seen us go from and I'll just say in my hometown, Birmingham.
Sure.
When I was younger, when I was say in my 20s, there were bars, but when you went to those bars, you parked 2 or 3 blocks away. You walked through an alley. You walked around. You went in certain doors. They didn't have. This is absolutely no joke. The bar and one of the bars in Birmingham, one of the most popular bars in Birmingham, or the biggest bars in Birmingham, was Mabel's Beauty Shop and Chainsaw Repair. That was the name of the bar. And I can remember as a small child driving by with my dad, country, and going, that's it. That says Beauty Shop and Chainsaw Repair. Why would they do that? Well, sometimes they just do stuff like that, son. We go past it fast. But and then it changed. And when I first came out, we had this. It was an awesome club. The owners screwed it up.
When did you come out?
Years ago or age? Because it sounds better when I say my age. I was 28 when I came out.
You were 28. Okay.
Yeah.
What was the year?
Oh my God, I can't even remember. I honestly can't remember the year. Let's see, because at 28, it was in the 90s, so about 96, something like that. So it came out. There was
getting off the gray.
Well, I'm getting there. I tell people all the time, I'm so old that when God said, "Let there be light," I'm the one that reached over and flipped the switch. But we had this club that was absolute. It was like a club out of a movie. It was called the Spaceship Europa, and when you went in, the bar, it was a big open area inside, and the bar was back towards the back, and it was a crashed UFO that was above the bar.
I wish I was old enough in the 90s to enjoy the clubs back then, because I feel like they were just like on point.
Oh yeah.
Like now like in Philly, like our most popular our most popular gay bar is now it's like a hotbed for like bachelorette parties.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's crazy. You see that all the time, like, or be at a club now. Because back in the day, we used to party. We used to go to clubs, and we had a good time. I mean, we went to a party one time that started on a Sunday and ended the following Monday. We slept maybe 4 hours. It was wild.
What did you guys do?
What was that? Okay, it was Red Shirt Days at Disney. Have you ever heard of that?
Gay days?
Yeah, Gay Days at Disney.
Yeah, of course. Yes, I've been there.
Well, we went with this group that did VIP and did VIP with everything.
Did Disney do that back then too?
Well, now this was not back in the 90s. This was back in the early. It's probably like 2006 was the last time we went. So.
Okay. Oh, and so Disney was doing it then.
Yeah. In fact, it was the funny part was it was the first year that the Cat in the Hat came out, because Red Shirt Day. So we're out there, and I'm looking, and there's families walking around with moms, dads, and kids, and thing 1, thing 2, thing 3, thing 4, and stuff. And this dad walks over to me, and he goes, "Excuse, I have a question for you." And I said, "Yes, sir. What can I do for you?" He said, "My daughter just said she noticed that everybody was wearing red shirts, but some of them don't say thing 1 and thing 2. So we was just wondering why that is." And I thought, oh Lord, okay, this is going in good or bad. So I said, "Well, it's Red Shirt Days." And he said, "What does that mean?" I said, it means that you are either gay or an ally. Doesn't mean that you are gay. It just means that you're either gay or an ally because you're wearing the red shirt." And he looks at me, and I thought, oh, because he's kind of hard thinking about it. And he went, oh, okay, yeah. And he turned around and told his kids, and I thought, that's the coolest thing that's ever happened to me. It was very sweet. And I was going on 3 days without any sleep at that point. So, beads and all that. We had it. Okay. Anyway, if I talked about that, it would be.
I would listen. Do you see what I have framed?
Uh-huh. Oh yeah.
I would. What's that?
Oh yeah. I've noticed it in the backgrounds before.
Yeah. I would love to hear more about those days.
Well, I tell you what, I'm on Snapchat as well as this. Now, please keep in mind, I'm awful about Snapchat. Somebody will say, "I sent you a message," and I'm like, "Let me check." Okay, but no, because here's the thing: we had fun. We did have a lot of fun. Now, the fun we had is not always age appropriate to be able to discuss on the social media.
Well, you can make these 18 plus, right?
Oh yeah. But even at that, I need to set it at like 35 plus because
that's true. That's true. Because once you hit 35, like you've reached a level of adulthood that like it flips around on itself, because everything that you swore you'd never do is the things you crave.
I will tell you, this is absolutely hilarious. We were in Florida, and we were actually with a big group, but we would be out like on the dance floor, and half the time, people don't have their shirt on and they're out there dancing. And I'm dancing with my husband. We're looking face to face, and he goes, and he gets this look like, what's happening? And I'm thinking, what is going on? And as I start to turn, I'm like mobbed. I get these gorilla arms around me. Basically, I'm picked off the floor, and I'm being squeezed, and I'm thinking, okay. It's either going to end really good or really bad, one of the two. But I turn around and it's a really good friend of mine that I knew, but we didn't know each other was coming to the down there. And here's the thing: when we got up in the mornings, we would go to the park and we would stay at the park all day. And then the group we were with, the park would close and they would have an after hours party in the park for just our group. Then after that party, there were after parties that were at other places, and then literally after parties. And you would go back to the hotel and you would think, we've only got like 2 hours before we got to be back at the park for one of the breakfasts or something like that. We would go again. I mean, it'd kill me now. If I tried it now, I'd be like, y'all know what happened to Bama. He's dead. He didn't make it.
So with the advent of PrEP and my husband and I opening up our marriage, I am having we're both having a lot of fun. And it's fantastic.
Well, you know what? And it's funny because people have so many opinions about stuff like that too. You know, you have some people who are like, oh, I can't believe they do open marriage or they do this or they do that. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter, because if you don't want to be in an open marriage, don't be in one. Right. If they come to you and say, hey, you want to come up? No, we don't do that. That's cool.
And here's the other thing. If you don't want to be in your open marriage, fine. That doesn't mean that your husband doesn't want me to fuck him, and it doesn't mean that I won't.
Well,
oh my God.
I just straight out tell people, listen, it's everything is about choice. And if you are in a relationship and you do not want to be in an open relationship, and you talk to your husband and you both say, no, we're not going to be in an open relationship, then you're not in one. You live your life that way. But if y'all say, hey, we want to be in open, then do it. Go do it. That's you. I mean, seriously.
And it feels like I think it depends on the relationship and your communication levels, but like we're going on 10 years and
that's awesome.
Like, I mean, I always want to be married to him, and I think he feels the same way. But there are things that, like, you know, it's funny because, like, I don't see this with a lot of my, like, non-straight friends, but with a lot of my straight friends, it's almost like, I mean, none of them are, except for one couple. None of them are in open relationships, and I feel like they kind of use sex as not a weapon, but like as a tool to get to like something else. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or like one of them might not be into something, but they'll do it anyway. Like, just because like they know that the other person likes it and they're trying to get something from them.
Yeah.
I don't want to force my husband to ever do, like, there's a few things that I like that he doesn't.
Yeah.
I would never want him to do that then.
Right. Absolutely.
But I want that. I want it. So, like, thank you for letting me go get it.
Absolutely. I mean, it to me is just one of those that you, as long as both people are with it, you know, both people are like cool with it, then that's what that relationship is. And y'all been together for 10 years, something working for y'all. Me and my husband just celebrated our 20th. And it is, it's to me, it's not a brag. I don't come out and say, oh, we've been married for 20 years. I like to say it because you'll have some people go, oh, that's amazing. Y'all been, well, no, not really. I have gay friends who've been together for 55 years. You know, they've been together they were together when they had to say, oh, this is my brother, or this is, you know, because we're living together, that kind of thing. So they lived through the dangerous times. So it's not a brag, really. It's more of it's possible. It's absolutely possible to have relationships like that.
It's communication and it's emotional vulnerability. It's emotional maturity. We wouldn't be able to if we weren't communicating.
Right. How did y'all, son? I'm gonna. My kid. I'm about to sell him. How did y'all meet?
People you may know.
Okay. So, people.
Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know that one. Man, I'm old.
Facebook. Like,
oh.
You know the.
Oh.
Yeah, no. I literally said, "Hey, you're hot. We should talk." And then he said, "Hey, you're hot. Let's talk."
That's awesome.
And then we did. And then I think maybe even that day we went on our first date because we just happened to have like availability. And it was, I think we were both at a point in our lives where we were just like, I was, I was a year out of like some of the worst grief I ever experienced. And so, and I mean, he had some stuff going on a while back too. So like, I think we were just both at a point where we were just we weren't trying to be anything but authentic.
Right.
And the conversations that we had were like, I've been on numerous dates with numerous people, and I feel like, I've always tried to sort of present myself away. But like with him, I just, it might have just been because like we had like hit it off so well, and then we were meeting up the same day that I didn't have time to plan who I was going to be.
Yeah.
I just was me.
Yeah.
And like he was just him, and like I guess like you could say that we did everything wrong. Like like based on the way like people you know, typically go about that. But it was just a very, very relaxed, laid back. In fact, I said to him that day when we were on our date, I said, "I'm going to marry you one day."
That's awesome. Well, if I tell how we actually met each other the first time, and I tell it without context, it sounds bad. Because the first time he saw me, I was unconscious, sprawled out on the couch. And the first time I saw him, he was bent over a bar. Okay, now let me go into context.
You don't need to. I got it. I understand. And it's all valid.
I was in a bad relationship, and it was ending. It was ending. And we had like 3 months left on a lease. And I had just said, because we'd been together for 6 years, I said, listen, just do me a favor. Don't bring anybody over. I said, because it would hurt me. Let's just, let's end this. We're ending it. We got 3 months left. We'll go our separate ways. We'll be good. Well, what he heard was, I'm going to bring everybody over I can to make you jealous. So he did. Well, I had been injured, and I was on pain medicine because I was in therapy for my back. I had twisted my back. Well, I was unconscious on the couch asleep when he comes over, and he brings over this 6 foot tall, blonde headed, blue eyed, bodybuilding police officer to make me jealous. He saw me and liked me. Well, we didn't talk because, of course, I was out. A couple of weeks later, I had gone to a club, and we had this agreement that I would go to certain clubs at certain times, and then I'd go home, because I was just going out to have some fun. And then him and his friends would go out to clubs, and we would try to avoid each other. Well, that meant he was going to try to show up. Well, he did, and I was like, you know what? I'm pissed. I'm leaving. I'm just, because you're trying your best to hurt me. As I was walking out, there was this guy leaning over the bar, talking to the bartender, and I was thinking, I'll kick your ass. If you, right now, either one of y'all start something with me, I'm pissed off enough, it's on. Well,
how old are you?
I'm 54.
Yeah. No, how old were you then?
32.
Okay.
Yeah, so we left, and then we split up, and I got a message, AOL instant message. This is back in the day. It says, hey, I bet you don't remember me, but we kind of met I thought you were cute, and I'd really like to go out with you. And I'm like, I kind of remember, but I can't picture your face. Can you send me a picture so I'll know who I'm talking to? Well, he sent me a picture, and I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm going out with you. Absolutely. Yeah, let's hit it. We'll go now. You want to go now? What? So we went out on a date the first night, and it was the same way. We were just ourselves, and we went out on it and came back, and the next day we spent apart, and that was the last day we ever spent apart. The rest of the time we were at each other's house, and then probably 5 months later we had moved in together, and that was 20 years ago. So yeah, so I met him because somebody brought him over to try to make me jealous. And
so he was the tall blonde cop.
Yeah, body built, because he had that. Because the first time I actually met him in person, where he wasn't leaning over a bar, I was getting out of my car and into his, and I was in a Jeep. So I looked down on the car he was in, and he's sitting there, and he's got on a tight shirt, and he's got the the pecs, and I go, oh, and forgot to put my car in gear. So I get out and it's in neutral. So the car starts going that way. And I jump back in, and I'm thinking, well, that was absolutely embarrassing. If I look over and he's laughing, that's it. I'm going to drive away. I'm just out because it'd be too embarrassing. I look over and he's looking down, doing something. I'm like, good, he missed it. Found out later, he saw everything. He's like, I was sitting there going, don't laugh. Don't laugh. So, but that was it. I brought him to my house, and I had a little dog, a little Chihuahua. By the way, her name was Buffy, the Vampire Slayer.
Oh,
her sister, because Buffy was a Russian blue applehead teacup Chihuahua. She had a sister who was a teacup Chihuahua, but was a fawn head and the black and tan. And her name was Faith. So it was Buffy and Faith. I have every season. I've watched them all. I watch your videos, and because you'll be saying, and this about Buffy, and I'm like, got it, know it. Oh. Dude. Ooh, you just made my heart hurt. I love it. That is awesome. But yeah, I love Buffy. I loved Buffy. I loved Angel. I didn't like Angel as much as I did Buffy, but it had its good points, and
I think that we weren't supposed to, because as we learned, Joss Whedon stopped caring about the story and started wanting to torture his cast. Yeah. So it really started to get bad around that time. So that makes sense now, right?
Yeah. It and I loved every character. I mean, I loved Harmony. It was just a crazy, evil vampire, but still goofy and lovable.
Well, you're not allowed to love Xander. We all hate Xander.
I loved the early Xander. The
Xander was awful.
The swimsuit Xander. I liked the swimsuit Xander. That was the first time he came on the screen, and I go, holy shit. He's woo.
You know about him. You know about him now, though, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've watched him, and it's amazing because it truly is like you watch his brother, and it is like what you really thought Xander would be like, the nice kind of with it kind of guy, and then him screwed up completely. But yeah. So, but I do love.
What was your favorite Buffy?
What?
What was your favorite Buffy episode?
Oh, Once More with Phelan. Once More with Phelan. I gave my husband the soundtrack. That was the first gift I ever gave him, the soundtrack.
What? What was your favorite song?
Oh Lord, what was the name of it? It was Every Single Day I Go Out and Fight the Fight. What was the name of it?
Every single night, the same arrangement. I go out and fight the fight.
Yeah.
But still I always feel the strangest estrangement. Nothing here is real. Nothing here is right. Going through the motions.
Yeah, there you go. I love that. And had the biggest crush on Giles. I mean, when Giles went, the first time he sat down and was singing, I was truly like them on television, where they were all kind of just watching. I was too. I was like, yeah, he could be my watcher.
You did have a crush on Giles.
Oh yeah.
I think my favorite was I'm Under Your Spell.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I'm Under Your Spell.
It was actually, I think it probably was the first gay love song that I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Like ever.
I don't think there was a bad song in it. And it was amazing that they were all written for it. And even like when Willow was singing, because even when they interviewed her, she was like, I'm not a singer.
I think that's mostly a filler.
But that was hilarious the way they did it. I mean, it flowed. Everything was great the way and the bunnies, it must be bunnies. And we would be walking around just singing it every once in a while. And one of the kids, when they were little, we'd be like, bunnies. When I'm go, or maybe midgets. And I'm like, no, you can't say that. Okay, that was on the okay. But yeah, I loved Buffy. I loved the movie. I loved the movie because it was so campy. It had its place.
I mean, it's not. I don't really take the movie serious,
but
but yeah, no, for sure. The movie. I knew the show because I had seen the movie.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean that was a fun movie. Hilary Swank was in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you ever read any of the comics or any of the stories beyond it?
So I don't. Now that I know what happens to Dawn in the comics, it got spoiled for me.
Yeah.
I won't now.
Yeah.
I think that is horrific.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah. They can ruin something in a heartbeat by doing a character. Have you seen her lately, though? There's been this big thing where people have talked about how much she has changed and how some people say she looks sick. And in one interview, she said, guys, I'm 38 now. I'm not 18. I'm not going to look the same way I did. And I'm like, yeah, but still.
Well, I mean, I think that if she is, I don't blame her. She grew up in an industry that wanted to eat her alive.
Mm-hmm. Tabitha. I was reading the things in here from the version of the Buffy from the Family Affair. Yeah.
Yeah. So Harriet the Spy. I mean, she's a child actor. She was Harriet the Spy before she was Dawn. She was sort of like a factory. Like she was treated like a.
Yeah.
Like especially back then they were dehumanized. Mm-hmm. These are the years in between what society did to Monica Lewinsky and and Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm.
So if she is sick, I don't blame her because she was just a industry snack.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean I loved them all in it, and when they were ending it, I really kept thinking, if they don't do it right, if they don't end it right, it's going to just be devastating. I mean, because if I watch a movie and the ending of the movie is bad, I'm mad. Yeah. I'm just like, okay.
That's how I felt about Hereditary. The ending was I liked the whole movie, and then the ending was fucking weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and it ruined the whole thing. Yeah. So did you like the ending of Buffy?
I did. I did like the ending of Buffy. I really did. I loved when White Willow did the magic and all the Slayers were waking up. Just seeing them, like the little girl batting. That was my favorite. The one who was up to bat. It wasn't this magnificent change. She was like shy, and all of a sudden she got this.
Game on.
Yeah, it was on. And then the one who stopped the abuser, that kind of thing. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I did like that. So
yeah. It's funny because do you know what a Dale is?
What?
Do you know what a Dale is? DALE.
I mean, like computer?
No, a Dale. DALE.
Okay.
So it's a crater.
Yeah.
And so
like Farmer in the Dale kind of thing.
So Sunny Dale, basically Spike used the sun that like came from the thing and created a crater, which I actually think like, I don't think that was the plan this whole time,
right.
But I do like how even the town's name kind of got tied up at the end in a nice little pretty bow. But who was your favorite villain?
Drusilla.
Yeah.
I love Drusilla because she was just absolutely crazy. I mean, it was literally off the chain. And now when you got into it more to find out why she was like that, I mean, they glossed over it and they said, oh yeah, Angel did all this, but then you kind of get into it to find out it was bad. But just the way she would act and the whole even the looks, like when Harmony was talking about Spiky, and they were there in front of Buffy, and Buffy and Drusilla kind of go and look at each other. Just those looks. It was things like that. So, and the whole, I have no idea how that just zoomed. Did I do that? Because my image zoomed up.
Oh.
I don't
know.
But anyway, now I'm moving like this. But yeah, I really love that. And that one thing, the bad dog, that the way she did that.
Bad dog.
Yeah. I love that.
I think mine was, I'm torn between, so I think Glory is my favorite.
Yeah.
But I don't think that she's my favorite bad guy because of her evilness. I think she was just compelling. Mm-hmm. I think the best evil person other than Xander was Caleb. Yeah. I don't think that there was anything more. I don't think I mean maybe Warren. I like Caleb and Warren kind of like are the same.
Yeah.
Like Caleb was pure evil.
Yeah. And it didn't, and he was hot, so that kind of made it too. Because you looked at him, and I love the way they did that. Because even in real life, when you have a serial killer, usually the serial killers are not ugly people. They're very attractive people. That's why they're good at their jobs, Yeah. And he could lure the girls in and all that, but
he had a way about him for sure. Yeah. I don't think that I think I kind of lost my attraction for him after a bit. But yeah, no, for sure. He was not unfortunate looking. He had a magnetism about him.
Yeah. Well, now, did you ever watch the Firefly?
Oh.
Yeah. So the one episode where he's standing there and it's just a behind the shot of him.
He's naked.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, it's like, yeah.
I mean,
it's pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we joke all the time around here that, how everybody has their freebie in any relationship where you've got that free ticket, that kind of thing. Mine has always been, no, Brendan Fraser. Oh, George of the Jungle, The Mummy. Even now, even older and bigger, he's just like,
There was something about like Brendan Fraser in the 90s for sure. He, I always saw him and the other guy as the same person. When I was young, I didn't know that they were two different. It was the guy on sorry, I don't know what happened. It was the guy on Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. The boyfriend.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that was Brandon. I always confused those two, but yeah, like they had a thing about them too, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I'm attracted to Brendan Fraser now.
Listen. I've been attracted to him for so long. I don't care. I really don't care. He could roll up in a wheelchair, gray hair, pot belly, and I'd be like.
But I think he's isn't he bi or no?
Well, I mean, in my dreams, but I'm not real sure. Here's the thing. He was one of the first actors that ever came out and talked about being sexually assaulted in Hollywood. like, because there's all these things about Brendan Fraser. Like there was always these people made assumptions about like different shoe sizes, we'll say, and people would walk up and grab hold of him or all this kind of stuff. And he had that happen. He had directors do that to him. He had a lot of stuff that happened, and he's a guy that is very like he didn't do Center of the Earth 2 because he said he wouldn't do it without the original director, and he held out. He said, I'm not going to do it. If they don't bring him back, I'm not doing it. And he didn't do it. It was his. He could have stepped in and taken it, but he won't. He wouldn't do that for against people. He has donated so much stuff to charity. He's a good guy. I mean, he really is a good guy. And to hear his story, he was hurt doing his movies and basically was told, oh, you're still going to keep doing these things. You're hurt. Well, if you don't, then you're out. You're not going to be able to do it anymore. Like in The Mummy, he got hurt doing The Mummy, and they still forced him to do. I mean, he didn't have to do the hard stunts, but there's still a lot of things that the actors do that are rough, and he did, and it hurt him, and so he's a good guy. You should listen to some of his interviews and some of the things that's happened to him. It blows my mind how.
Oh, I didn't know that he was SA'd.
Yeah, he was. Oh. So
like he was SA'd because people kept grabbing him, or somebody
the where you hear about the director's couch and all that kind of stuff, where they try to, they would do the women where the directors would get them in and start flirting with the women and start telling them, oh, you can't unless you put out, you're not going to be in this movie, you're not going to that. Well, he had them attempt that. From my understanding, it stopped him from getting certain roles and doing certain things because he never allowed it to completely happen, but he was assaulted. It just didn't travel all the way through. Like he was not, held down. Things like that didn't happen to him, but still, I had a friend of mine who is absolutely gorgeous, straight guy. I'm talking about just, you look at him and go, damn, he's gorgeous. Well, he'd go to the gay bars with us and people would come up and flirt with him. And he was absolutely cool about it. He'd be like, thanks, that it's real sweet. And we were out one night and this guy kept on and kept on and kept on. And it got to the point, I finally pulled him to the side and I went, look, dude, no, we're lucky to have people like this. The people who step into our world and they're not expecting us to change for them, but they don't want us to try to change him either.
Can I have $12?
What?
Can I have $12 for a game? It's a strategy game, and my friend wants me to play with him.
I don't
Supreme
care.
Commander. Yeah.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Everybody follow, or I'm a.
Is that your son?
Yeah. He actually, they got me to making the first videos, and when we first did it, you were live. Your thumb was on a couple of them, but it never made it to TikTok. Got me to do some of the first videos, and we did them for just giggles. It was just fun. It wasn't until one day I made a video that honestly, I looked at it. There was no way I thought it was going to do anything. Okay, I had been out in the yard. I had been working. I looked god awful. The beard is out like this all over the place. The hair is messy. The hat's all skewed. And I made this video in a joke, and it was the one of, hear about all these boys out here doing makeup and makeup tutorials and all this kind of stuff. And I go, can you tell me what would be good for this right here? One try, I filmed it, I submitted it, I left to go pick them up from school. Went to the school, picked them up. He's 16, the other one's 17, and then it ranges to 26. Well, I went and picked them up from school. We got back home, and we had been talking about the TikTok earlier that morning, and we had said, I think we had 400 followers, something like that. And I was like, no, we had 400, right? And they're like, yeah. No, 400, right? And they're like, yeah, why? And I'm like, because we're in the thousands now. And they're like, no way. And I pulled it up and I showed them because this video went wild. People were doing it, and I was getting these messages like erasing the entire paragraph that, because people were, oh, he hates people doing makeup, and they'd write out something. And then at the end, they'd find out that it was nothing. They'd like, delete. I'm going to delete that. And then people duetted it, and it went kind of wild. So the videos kind of just took off from that. And to this day, because we've got, I don't know how many followers we have on here. I don't really.
363,000.
Okay. I have no clue how or why. I really don't, because I see this stuff, and I of course I try to have fun with the videos. I want to post things that I think are fun or funny, but I'll have people comment on them. And the greatest thing is I've had people send me messages. At first, I would get messages in it and go, "Would you be my dad?" Because my dad doesn't act like this, and I'm like, well, I mean, the only thing I can tell you, what, I'll be your TikTok dad. How about that? We'll do that. And so I would have a lot of people, and there's now one of them. One was 12 years old and sent me a message when that first came out. Now he's like 18, and he still sends me messages and goes, "Hey, Dad, how you doing?" I'm like, "I'm doing good," But yeah, it's kind of a shot. That's one thing that see, this is your next step, okay? Because you go from, because I was twink, twunk, then I went kind of wolf and bear, and then where people come up and go, "Ooh, daddy," that kind of thing. And the next thing you get is, "Oh, pawpaw, bitch, I will."
You have no idea. They consistently datify me. It is. I'm not even 40 yet, and I have too many student loans to be anybody's daddy. Like, I don't accept it, but like at this point, I used to hate it. Like this time last year, I was like, "Don't call me daddy." But now I'm just like, I'm so desensitized by it now that like I just and the other thing is like I can see why they say it, because like I do like to punish people. So at this point, like it makes sense to me why they would.
Oh, I love that.
It makes sense to me why they say it. But the thing is, though, like I guess it's different than sugar daddy. Like I could never be somebody's sugar daddy because student loans have crippled me.
Yeah,
I need a daddy. So like my student loans are more than my mortgage. I can't really save for my future because I have student loans.
Yeah.
So like when people are like, "Oh, daddy," I'm like, "I'm not your daddy. I'll be your
sugar baby
neighbor.
Yeah.
I'll be your neighbor, and if you want to be my daddy, that's okay. I'll mow your lawn."
Yeah.
No, I'm not even 40 yet. And also like
Thank you, Yvette.
I don't know. I feel like it's fine. If they want to do it, that's fine. It's just not my thing.
Well, here's the thing. As I have seen a lot of people in our community go crazy over getting older. I mean, just literally, because they're not the little twink anymore. They're not the little one that everybody went to in the bar and said, "Ooh, they're so cute" and all that. They're getting older, which doesn't mean they're getting like they're not attractive or not. They're just.
I just keep getting better looking.
Absolutely.
like just straight up. Like I think I look better now than I did like when I was 30.
Well, I will say this: I was more fit back then. Yeah. I really was. And I think every year that we've gotten older, like I can honestly say this, like about my husband, there's not been a time as he's gotten older that I didn't look at him and think, yeah, I got a good one on that. Because he's aged very well. And, But the whole
And you
thing.
guys have kids. Kids age you. You guys look good if you.
Oh.
And you guys have.
Listen. There's a picture of us at Disney. Okay, the last red shirt day we was talking about. Me and him standing beside each other, kissing each other in front of the big globe in front of Universal and all that kind of stuff. Then a year later, the kids, and you see us sitting there, we look haggard. The hair is just, kind of like this. And the kids have said, what happened? You're the one who did this. You did this. You've destroyed us.
Absolutely. Yeah, you do. They do destroy you.
But now, one of these down here that you've seen commenting is a friend of mine. I don't know if y'all follow each other or not. Richard, dad of 22. That is not a joke. He is the dad of 22.
Get out of here. I don't care.
His are children adopted and fostered and all that kind of stuff. And it's just great. So I love him to death. He's awesome. But yeah.
Got a frog in my throat.
But in our computer room here, we have a desk where my son is on the other side of the desk from me, and I'm over here. So,
hi, Sonny boy.
Yeah, yeah, he is. He didn't get his permit in time to do the whole. On my 16th birthday, I get my driver's license. But we're going. Was it next month, Robert?
No, yeah, November 20. I mean, not November. February 22nd.
February 22nd, we're going to get his driver's license.
Mine. When I was 16, it just happened to be a winter where it was. I'm in Philadelphia, and it just happened to be a winter where it was like a blizzard winter.
Mm-hmm.
So my birthday is in December, and I learned how to drive. The first 3 months was just like snow and ice, and stick shift. That's how I learned.
Oh yeah, and I tell them all the time. I wish I still had a stick shift, so that I could have taught them how to drive in that. Because if you can drive a stick shift, you can drive anything. I mean, you can really, because it's
annoying.
Oh yeah, but we now keep in mind this is Alabama, so we don't have the big winters like y'all have. Now we do get snow at times, but it shuts us down. We look, y'all, there's snow on the ground. That's it. Close the highways. We're done. But like I grew up driving out in the strip pits, and I rode motocross. I mean, literally, dirt bikes and jumping and all that kind of stuff. And I look at that now and think, that right there, that landing right there, that's the one that took my back out. That's the one that did it. That's the one. Yeah, because, as a kid, you're crazy and you go, nothing can hurt me. And then as a 54-year-old man, now I'm going, that little shit. He's the one that killed me.
We're not vampire slayers.
No, at all. So, but yeah. It amazes me too, some of the not guest stars, because they weren't guest stars on the show, but people who were on the show who later on became bigger celebrities from the Buffys.
Well, there's what's his name? Pedro Pascal had a guest appearance.
Who else was it? There was one I was just thinking we were talking about the other day, because he was on for. Who was Buffy's friend that had cancer? Who was that one?
Owen?
No, the actor that played Owen.
Did he have cancer in real life?
No. He had cancer on the show. Remember, he was Buffy's friend from California. He came there.
I don't know. I didn't know that he was. Did he become popular somehow?
I think he's one of the ones that became popular.
Well, there's also Jesse. If you remember Jesse from the first 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Jesse, who was Xander's best friend who became vampire, and then they never ever mentioned him again.
Yeah.
He's Eric Balfour in real life. And he did a very spicy movie where you saw everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Watched it. Paused it. A lot of time.
Lied.
Yeah. But yeah, it's. I mean, there was a lot of stuff, and they asked Sarah Michelle Gellar because they'd been talking about doing a remake, and they asked her,
they're doing it.
Are they doing it? Who have they chose to be the? I don't know if that was a gift from was me or not.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luke, my love. Luke is very handsome.
Well, now I gotta look. You said Luke. That's my guy.
So
yeah, isn't he?
Dolly Parton was a silent producer for Buffy. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
But so she announced that they are doing a reboot.
You know, we actually have, thank you, Luke. We have an invitation from Dolly Parton because when the kids were born, we got autographed pictures of celebrities to have them write a special note to them and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
Well, a request went to Dolly's office, and someone in the office was kind of ugly about it, like responded back and was, no, we don't do that and all that. And we sent a message, and somehow it got to Dolly and said, hey, we've been fans forever. And that just kind of surprised us. And she was mad and sent us back something and said, you come to Dollywood and you got a free stay and all this kind of stuff. And we've always said yes, but we're saving it for like a special anniversary to go up there. And
oh, wow.
Because if I meet her, it's going to be over. I'm probably going to pass out. If I meet Dolly Parton, it's just going to be on.
So I don't know what it's going to be. Like, I don't know what it's, I don't know how to like think of this reboot. I don't know.
Well, the Charmed reboot, they kind of bid it on. So I will watch it when it first comes out, like I did with the Charmed. But then, like with the first couple of episodes of the original Charmed, I was hooked. The first couple of episodes of the like reboot, I was like, no.
The problem with the reboot of Charmed was that it was first of all, there wasn't enough time.
Right.
That in between.
Yeah.
And also, like, it was too similar in some ways and too different in others that it should have just been its own thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it should have just disconnected itself from Charmed altogether, or it should have maintained more continuity of the original. Like, do one or the other. I don't think that Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to well, let me rephrase that. It seems like the trajectory of Sarah Michelle Gellar's work after Buffy has been very methodical and plotted out.
Mm-hmm.
And so if such a script exists that's very compelling and it's worth the storytelling, then I would believe that she would do it. But I don't know if she believes one exists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, they'll have to play it very carefully because it's the same way. They have such a devout followers of the original that will, thank y'all. Oh, I don't know if you've ever heard this or not, but I will say this for whatever gifts come to me, I always tell people they never have to send gifts. And if they do, it's appreciated because, Little Big Cop. Hey, from Alabama. You know them?
I don't think I do.
You need to open the page.
Whoa, hello.
Hey, Bubba, how you doing? You have a new follower now.
Maybe?
Yeah, him and his husband both are absolute. They're first of all, they're sweethearts. They're absolute sweethearts. Love them to death. They've always been just real sweet, but they're both gorgeous. I'm talking about gorgeous. And he does, one of them does photography and does great pictures. I mean, they're very artistic and very telling. So you need to go to their Instagram too, because you'll see the pictures there. Gorgeous pictures.
Wait, where is he located?
Alabama.
Oh, he's in Alabama.
He is in Alabama, yes. Yeah. So
I really want to do a play on words.
with the title.
No, not with the title. With a certain phrase that certain progressives often say about the cops.
Well, I'm married to one, so what do you hear? Because I hear them all.
Well, no, it's just like I want to. Never mind. I can't say it because it's TikTok.
Okay. Well, later on what is it, on Snapchat, send me something so I'll know what you're talking about. It's funny because
it's basically like I want to put the F in F the police.
we appreciate the love. Well, listen, I mean, they honestly, with all joking aside about, because they are, both of them are absolutely gorgeous, but they're very sweet, and I like that. Funny thing, when I'm a nurse, and when my husband and I got together, we had more people in the healthcare side give us problems than we did on law enforcement side. The law enforcement side never had a problem. Everybody was always extremely nice to me. I got stopped one day going to work because I'm just going to say I deserved to be stopped. Okay. There was no getting out of it. I deserved it. If he'd have wrote me a ticket, I deserved it. I needed it. Oh, thanks, Luke. But he pulls me over, comes walking up to the car, and I'm thinking, damn it, shit, now I'm going to be late to work and I'm getting a ticket. He comes up and he says, license, registration, proof of insurance. So of course I got everything and I handed out the window. He looks at it and he goes, are you Bill's husband? And I went, yeah. He goes, hands me my stuff back, and he goes, I'm telling, and turns around, walks back to his car, and I go,
That's funny.
I don't care. Don't tell him, but I don't care. Don't be cool. Be cool, dude. Be cool. But yeah, I mean, they always have. And then we've had on the nursing side, because there's a lot of, especially here in the Bible Belt, we got a lot of like religious zealots as nurses.
Yeah.
And they like to give me their opinion.
Even the young ones? There's young ones too? Or is it mostly like...
It's mostly the older ones, but there are some younger ones. I've had some who are in like their... one who was in their 20s, I went to nursing school with. And she tried her best. I mean, she would be just as sweet as she could be. And then she'd go, y'all are going to hell, right? And I'm like, well, that's where all the cool people are going. So I'm good with it. I mean, because here's the thing. You want to discuss religion? Let's do it. My mom was the daughter of a Baptist preacher. My dad was the son of a Methodist minister. I went to church every time the doors was open. You want to discuss the Bible? Let's hit it. I got it. Chapter and verse, what you want. So I can do that, Annie. But with people who do things like that, they don't, it's not true learning. That's something that their grandfather told their father told them, it's passed down to them, and it's hate that's passed on. And because I have a nephew who is a preacher, he is a Baptist preacher. And when people talk to him about it, he tells them his is very, he has studied. It's non-judgmental. He'd tell them, first and foremost, I'm not supposed to judge anybody. I'm not supposed to. That's the first thing you got to say. I'm not supposed to judge anybody. So when talking about with religion with him, I can sit and talk religion with him all day. I've got other family members. By the end of the talk of religion, somebody got their hands around the other one's throat trying to choke them out or something. But because I have a huge family.
So I went to Bible college. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I was actually brainwashed as a Christian, and I went to Bible college, and I got unbrainwashed. And I'm not joking when I say this, from all of the gay sex that I had in the men's dorms.
Oh yeah.
And if anybody wants to know more about that, there's a podcast called Naughty Audio for Men. It's for people who are 18 or older, And my friend, whose name is Naughty, he runs it, and he interviews gay and bi men about like their stories.
Oh yeah.
Mine was so thorough that it became a 2-parter. And the episode is called Mike Had a Lot of Gay Sex in Bible College. So you should, if you want to know about my coming out in church and then my
thank you.
leaving the church, it's a 2-part episode.
Well, it amazes people when you tell them stuff like that, because I sit and see, on Saturday night, go out to the clubs and then go visit a church with your mom or grandma on Sunday. And you go, wait a minute. I know you, that kind of thing, because they do. It's crazy. They, thank you. It's, people don't get it. So many closeted people are so repressed, and they've been taught I was taught it. I grew up being told, oh, well, if you're gay, you're going to hell. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you're born that way, absolutely, but you're going to hell. It's just, that's what's going to happen. You're going to hell. So I grew up thinking, wow, God hates me. He just hates me, because nothing I can do to stop it, and I'm going to hell. So it took me a long time. And I'll say this, I'm still a spiritual person. I still have my beliefs. I never force my beliefs on anybody. I discuss it if they want to talk about it, but I don't force my beliefs on it. And if somebody says, I don't believe, that's absolutely your choice. I'm going to tell you this. This is my belief. That's where my belief ends. I say this is my belief.
This is. Want to know what I believe? I think that if people are going to take time out of their day to tell you that you're going to hell because you're gay, I don't actually think that they believe that. I think they just like that superiority, and it has become a dopamine release for them. Mm-hmm. I don't think that from years of like religious abuse and being part of that community and just seeing how they can teach you in class all of how like we're all going to hell, but then meet you in the men's dorms for a midnight circle Bible study, if you know what I'm saying. There's no possible way that they actually believe it. And if they are going to impart hell on me, I'm going to impart the fact that they don't actually believe it. They just want it. They just want the narrative. Mm-hmm. I don't believe at all that religious people who take time out of their day to tell you that you're going to hell, I don't believe that they believe anything. I think that the idea of I don't think that they actually care about Jesus. I think that it's all about narratives, and the idea that you have to keep going back to church at least once a week in order to get that dopamine refill tells me everything that I need to know about their their genuineness, their genuine qualities.
Well, don't tell me. I mean, my thing is, don't tell me that you're a Christian and that you believe that you should follow in the footsteps of Jesus, and you drive past homeless tents on your way to the mega church where you have to be bussed in from your car because the parking lot is so big. Next to here in Alabama, this is no joke. Little Big Cop can tell you this. Drive down the road. Every mile or so on the main highways, you're going to come across the church that has to express their love for Jesus by a 750-foot lit cross on the side of the road. They'll have that up there. And I'm sitting there thinking, how many people could you have fed with that? I mean, literally, how many people could you have pulled out from living under one of the off-ramps and, gave them a place to live? So
because it's not... Those billboards are not meant to save souls. Those billboards are meant to attract haters
Mhm.
so that haters come and give them money. But no, church sells hate.
Yeah.
Christianity is a sales pitch for hate. And you're at this point, they're so desperate that they're not looking to recruit new. Like, it would be great if they could recruit new people, but like they're actually just trying to keep the same butts in the seats. So that's why they sort of started to turn to like ultra like mega hate, because like they're trying to appeal to the base that they've always had, because they're losing them too.
That's right, Red.
It's hard, like, and it's because of people like me, I think, at least in part, because like. If I find a conservative on Grindr, everybody's going to know about it. I don't maintain silence over people who like have conservative leanings, voting records or whatever. If you are pro LGBTQ and you're closeted, I will protect you from.
Oh yeah.
But if you are out in the open, if you are against me, and then you want to proposition me on Grindr, like I'm going to meet you, and then I'm going to tell everybody about it, and I'm going to ruin your life.
It's, to me, because here it happens a lot. It really does happen in this area, because in the Bible Belt, there's so many conservatives. I'm just telling you, so many conservatives that when you see them, that they will preach hellfire and damnation. I almost said Dalmatians. Hellfire and damnation. But then you'll see them at the club, or you will see them at these events, and it blows your mind, because it's like, look, you be you. If that's what you want to be. Time. Huh?
Hurry up.
Shut up. Get out of my room.
Hurry up.
I will put you up for adoption. Get out. There's a guy on here. He's already got 22 children. I can straight send you up there. He'll never know you're even there. You just blend in with the rest of them.
Where is Luke B from? Where is Luke B from?
I don't
know. I know you PM'd me. I just saw it. Where are you from, though?
Oh, thank you, Red. By the way. Take Richard. I'll send him bus ticket. He's on his way.
Yeah. So no, that's I can't abide this anymore. Like, especially because like last July 9th of 2023, there was an article that came out in The Guardian, and surprise, surprise, nobody else picked this up, but there was leaked info about how, and we kind of already knew this was true, but now there's actual proof that very wealthy religious right private special interest groups have been for the past 11 years spending, I think it's $280 million on spreading anti-LGBTQ rhetoric in places like Uganda. And what they were doing is they were treating it like a petri dish, and whatever narratives like stuck and really spread, they would take that and go global with them. One of the things about us grooming kids was one that like really was like fanfire over in Uganda a couple years ago. And so when you find out that there are bad faith groups working behind the scenes, spending money to prevent our progress, then you can't look at our progress the same way anymore. You can't be like, oh, well, we just have to wait, play the long game and wait for people to come around. Bitch, they're not going to be coming around, because there are special interest groups that are working to make sure that never happens. So that's why, like, now that I know that there are bad faith actors, I'm working in bad faith in my own way for our progress. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. That stuff, when they do that, especially, you've got, if what you believe is true, why do you have to work so hard to make other people believe it? Because it's not me telling you, hey, Mike, if you take a knife or a needle and do this, it hurts. It's not me telling you that. It's me trying to change what you can fundamentally believe. Like people say, oh, you're trying to teach rhetoric to children. When kids see two people and you say something about a couple or whatever, sometimes because like one down here, when my son was in kindergarten, his teacher called me. I love his teacher, and we're friends. She called me and she was just dying laughing. And I said, what's going on? She said, well, he was sitting at a table with 3 other children. And he was coloring. He was just coloring. And the other ones were like, my mom does this and my mom does that. And they said, looked at him and said, well, what does your mom do? And he said, never looked up. He said, I don't have a mom. They said, well, why don't you have a mom? Says, well, I have 2 dads. He's just still coloring, never looks up. Well, why do you have 2 dads? He goes, I don't know. I'm lucky, I guess. And just keeps coloring. She calls me and she's crying. She goes, you're not gonna believe what he said. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm thinking I got to go up there. The kid has set something on fire. And she said it was the greatest thing. And I would go up there and the kids would be like, because he called, I'm Poppy and my husband is Dad. And it would be somebody go, is that your pop? Or is that your dad? That kind of thing. But that was it. I mean, the kids, there was some because of their parents would be like hateful, but it was all because of their parents. Your children are taught to be hateful.
Oh yeah. That's the thing. Like, we're not taught. We are just born the way we are. But you have to be taught to believe. You have to be taught to like hate other people.
Oh, yeah.
You have to be taught that, even though this is fake, but you have to be taught that like Jesus hates us. Like all of the things that our haters throw at us, they had to be taught that.
Yeah. And they had to make it up, because even if you like, let's say for a second, you've got somebody who's just looking at Christianity with a blank slate, and you look at original text, you look at different things like that. It has been changed. Things have been changed in the Bible, so that would be
about 1946, right?
Yeah, the narrative where they started making it. They added us to the Bible.
Did you see the documentary?
I have not watched it. I talked to the producer of it, and I haven't watched it. I just haven't watched it. I need to, but need to. Have you ever?
Yeah, it's very compelling for sure.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like I don't. Again, like I said, I'm never going to go to somebody and go, you have to believe what I believe. No, I tell them that's what I believe.
I am 100%. Well, it depends on what you mean.
Well,
like,
I'm talking about religion.
I need to I need to force people to like, if you're not going to just see me as your equal, I'm going to force you to. Like that, like if your belief is that I'm not equal to you.
Oh yeah, that absolutely. Now that's what I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like you have, I believe in God. Do I believe in the God that's taught at the Baptist church or the Methodist church? No, I don't believe in that God. I do not, because that God has been tainted and just mutated. That's not what I believe in. But I don't tell somebody, because I have a friend who's an atheist, and he says, well, I just don't believe. And I'm like, okay, it's absolutely fine for you not to. I'm not going to tell you, you have to believe that there is. But for these people to twist things so much and put it out there in the world for people to see, and for children or people who've never known before, that all of a sudden now they've been taught that we're the awful people. Drag queens and drag brunches and all that kind of stuff. There has never been not that I have found, a documented incident of anything happening there. Oh, thanks, Luke. Anything happening there with kids. But that was the big focus. But now at Bible school, there are documented things that's happened at church.
It's on a statistically on an epidemic level. Like if you just do basic, like simple math, it's one child per one Christian or Catholic per
something to
Scapegoat.
Yeah.
And you know why it worked, right?
Well,
you know why it's been as successful as it has been for them, right? Really support us. Our allies and accomplices are not for us the way we would like to think they are.
Right. I've had that discussion with a couple of people, people who've said that about gay people, and I'm like, you never opened your mouth. Why is that?
Right. You've never opened your mouth, but you will also go to family Christmas parties with them. You will still show up to their christenings. You'll still go to their family functions. You will still mingle with them because this stupid idea that like, oh, conflict avoidant, the stupid idea of like, oh well, we have to respect other people's beliefs. We have to meet in the middle. We have to wait the long game. All of that fucking bullshit is just their way of sleeping better at the end of the day, because they know what we know, which is that they are not for us the way they say they are.
Well, Mike, you'll like this. Okay. A friend of mine years ago, this is a short story. A friend of mine years ago called me and said, I'm dating a new guy and I want you to meet him. I said, absolutely, because we worked together. I loved her to death. Yeah. I go to this restaurant. We sit down to eat. This guy comes out, and the whole time I'm talking, he's like,
Luke,
and I'm like, what is up with that? You know, what's going on?
Right.
And at the end of the conversation, now keep in mind, I'm 5'10", okay? Back in the day, I used to hit the gym every day. I did aerobics, I did weightlifting, I did a little bit of everything. So I was in shape. And here comes this little scrawny guy out there, redneck. I'm talking about redneck, comes out there, and we're sitting there eating. And he, at the end of it, he goes, well, I'm going to tell you something. Me and some friends of mine in the past, we've actually gone bashing. I heard her inhale every bit of the oxygen in the room, and I look at her, and her face is just. Now, it's better for her in a minute. But I said, oh, you have? He goes, yeah. I said, well, I tell you what. I said, why don't we do this? Because then, like I've said in the past, don't let the way I talk, who I love, fool you. Okay? I was raised in the country. So I said, well, I tell you what. I said, why don't we do this? I said, now, first of all, this dinner's over. Mary, I love you, but I'm out. I said, so why don't we do this? We go out to the parking lot. Now, one of two things is going to get to happen. Now, tomorrow you're going to get to go home and tell your friends you whipped a sissy's ass. Or you're going to have to tell your friends, oh, sissy stomped your ass.
Right.
I get up and he's not moving. I'm like, Mary, I'll see you later. I'll be waiting for you in the parking lot. I walk out, and as I get to the door, I turn around and look just to see if he's coming. And she came from, I'm talking about right field, swung, she hit him. I'm talking about it. You heard it across the restaurant. Pow! She got up and left. I don't know what door he left out of. He didn't leave out the door out because I sat out there for 25 minutes waiting. Years go by. Years. I'm sitting at one of the martini bars in Birmingham, one of the gay martini bars. We're sitting there with a friend of mine, and he said, oh, Jeff, I got somebody for you to meet. Said, we've been dating, and I think he's hot. I went, okay. I sit there, and I look up. He comes walking through the door. He comes walking up there, sits down, and just, hey, how you? And I'm like, and I'm doing. And
does he recognize you?
Oh, no, not at this point. Because everybody's like, what? Because I'm usually the one that goes, oh, hey, how you doing? Let's talk. You know, bring you in. Let's talk. And I'm sitting there just, I'm just not taking it. And he goes, hey, my name is, I went, oh, I know your name. I said, I know your name. I said, and you'll know mine in a minute because I still owe you an ass whooping. I waited in the parking lot for 25 minutes. I'm going to head on back out there now because you still got an ass whooping coming. And everybody's like, Jeff, Jeff, wait, what's he's got this ass whooping coming, y'all. No, we going to the yard. Come on. And I get out there, and they're following me out to the car. They're going, you can't do this. I went, oh, I can. I absolutely can. And I'm about to show you I can, because I'm about to whoop it. The minute he walks out that door, I'm whooping his ass, y'all. I'm just telling you, I'm going to whoop his ass. Finally, the owner of the bar, who I knew, came out there and said, you can't. He may deserve this. But you can't do it here, because, you just can't. I said, all right, well, I'm leaving. And they're like, what is going on? I said, do you not remember me telling you the story of my friend inviting me out and the guy telling me he had gone bashing? And they're like, yeah. I went, that's him. And they're like, holy shit. And then I've got other friends of mine going, oh, hell no. We're going back now. Let's go. I'm like, no, if y'all ain't going to let me whip his ass, y'all can't go back and whip his ass. No, that's only fair. But yeah.
And so what happened to him?
They did not go out anymore after that night. My friend told him, said, no, I don't. First of all, we could never hang out with my friends, because he's going to hurt you if he sees you again. And I'm like, right. Because here's my thing, because I have no problem believing that him and some of his friends actually did go and bash it. Have no problem. I had in Atlanta, I don't know if you've ever been to Atlanta, there's a bar called the Heretic. And it's a fun bar, okay? But you have to.
What kind of bar is it? Is it a leather bar?
Yeah.
Or is it more dungeony than leather? Are there dark rooms?
There's a basement.
Okay.
So okay. Look, don't get me in trouble. All right. We're just saying there's a bar. There was a bar in Atlanta.
There's a basement.
Yeah.
And in the basement, are the lights down low, and are there chains on the wall?
I think they may have kept some pets down there, okay? Because there was plenty of places to, keep dogs chained up, that kind of stuff. So anyway, we were walking from the parking lot to the bar, which was a regular city block for us, probably about 3-4 blocks just down the road. Well, a car comes by. And this is a busy road, so they're doing about 55 miles an hour.
Sure.
And threw an unopened water bottle and hit me in the back with it, screaming slurs as they drove by. And the water bottle exploded. It hit me so hard it exploded. It took my breath. I turned around, and there was a guy behind us, and he pointed out the people who did it, and they're yelling and all that kind of stuff. So, that happened. My husband has actually been attacked and cut. So I don't take, somebody talking about bashing or jumping on somebody, all that. I just don't. That's one of my switches. Flip that switch, I go crazy. Because it's one of those that, first of all,
that's why I train him.
Yeah. First of all, you're a coward. If you and 4 or 5 of your friends go out and jump on somebody, you're a coward, because you're not going to do it by yourself. You're not going to jump on them by yourself. And look, my dad, I grew up with a dad who was like one breath away from being a survivalist. Okay. We had to take self-defense classes. We had to learn how to shoot guns, bows and arrows, no joking, throwing knives, things like that. We had to be good at stuff. Yeah. So believe me, I've got pretty good aim. However, so we did all this stuff. So my thing is, if you're going to jump somebody, be a man about it. It's like, you go up to them face to face. All right. Then they've got a fighting chance. You pull up with 4 or 5 of your friends and you jump on somebody. No.
Right.
No.
Right. No, for sure. For sure. They're all weak. It's also like, I would love to coalesce.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to create a group of people that infiltrated Proud Boys.
Bye, Richard. Yeah.
That infiltrated the Proud Boys, and probably via Grindr, and basically like no pun intended, but took one for the team for revenge porn kind of purposes, for like life destruction, and also the other things too that you were talking about for meeting in the parking lot as well.
Oh yeah.
I feel like they're all getting together and they're all doing their like tactical training. Why aren't we?
Yeah. Did you ever watch the show?
Doing...
Did you ever watch the show Queer as Folk?
Yeah.
When Justin joined what was the name of that group?
Oh yeah. You know what? Maybe that's where I got Maybe that's where I got it from. So my life, I did not realize, but my life looks a lot like Brian Kenny.
I can say that.
I don't think that I knew that until talking to other gays on TikTok about how like, cause I was in maybe 6th or 7th grade. I would sneak down at the like late at night and watch it on Showtime. And I just was so fascinated, scared to death.
Oh yeah.
But so fascinated. But now I look at my life and I inadvertently, when I'm not Buffy, I think I'm Brian.
I can see that. Now I'll say this. There was a part of him that I took away with me, and it was always, I've always been this way, that there's no apologies and no regrets. Now, when I say that, the things that I've done in my life, and I've done things. Everything I've ever done has made me who I am right now, period. I never intentionally tried to be malicious to someone that really didn't deserve it, to like somebody who's innocent. So that kind of thing, I don't apologize for. If I did something that hurt your feelings, I will apologize for that. If you say, I saw you dancing on the bar. Oh, yeah, you did. I'm not apologizing for things that I've done. That's
for sure. And in fact, I agree 100%. But because of what just happened in Seattle, which, by the way, Little Big Cop, like, we need cops to speak up about this, especially LGBTQ cops and ally cops. The raid that happened in Seattle with all those queer bars last weekend. Do you know about that?
I'd heard some about it. I haven't. I was actually going to look it up, but I haven't heard.
So I mean, that happened in Seattle, which is a relatively liberal place, but like, I mean, it's getting worse, and I feel like it's getting worse because like we're just relatively quiet.
Yeah.
And so we're sort of allowing this to happen, and I feel like I would have loved to have heard that they did that and then they regretted it because the patrons rose up and stonewalled them.
Yeah.
But they didn't. They didn't. They just let it happen.
I don't understand that either. As a group of people, we have more power than anyone because there are people like me. Yes. We had children. We took that path in life, but there are a lot of us that didn't. They have disposable income. They spent the money as they spend on themselves or whatever they want to do, which is absolutely great. But there's power in us. We've got the power. We could stop industries and just go, nope.
Well, so this is. I think I understand why we don't though. But just to speak to what Glinda said, like, Glinda, I understand that Seattle cops aren't. Yeah. But my point is, though, that, like, as a society, like, we've been trained to not rise up. Like, at least as a queer society, like, I don't understand. It's one thing for, like, them to be conservative, but it's another thing for them to be conservative and know that they're going to get away with it. What made them think, or actually what made them know that they were going to get away with it? Because they did get away with it. They did
Yeah.
exactly what they wanted to do. And the reason why they didn't do it before is because they didn't think that they could. And now they think that they can.
Mm-hmm.
And so for it to be in a place like Seattle, which isn't like Oklahoma or Tennessee, which would have been easier
Yeah.
for that to happen, like I think we're seeing a regression in culture. And to be honest with you, that's really scary, not just for us, but like we're kind of like America in a weird way is sort of like a I don't want to say gold standard because God forbid, but like what we see happen in America with regression, we end up seeing other places later.
Yeah.
And so like were there no beer bottles to throw in those bars? Like what exactly stopped people from taking the law into their own hands? Because back in the 60s, what was Stonewall 69? Back
June
in 69,
yeah.
they had, they had the balls. Back in 69, they had the guts to take the law into their own hands. But this weekend, we didn't. And so, like, I think about, like, what I was raised with, and also kind of it going, like, bringing back to Buffy, just the idea that, like, the moral of post season 6 was that Willow was wrong for doing what she did to Warren. Like, I mean, I understand that she had an addiction and that was like, that was the thing. But the thing is, like, I am very much for what Willow did to Warren.
Oh, me too. I never thought it was bad. I was like, oh, no good.
But everybody, but it was accepted, like culture accepted what she did to Warren as bad because we don't do that to humans. But, we should. And I say that because it's just part of this mentality that I was raised with, which is like, oh, just ignore them. They're really the ones suffering. Let it go, walk away, be the bigger person. All of that has led me to only at age 38 training MMA for the first time so that I can know how to defend myself correctly. It's wild to me. It's wild to me that as a gay man, it took me 38 years to realize, you know what, I need to start taking like serious defense courses to learn how to do this.
You weren't.
And then I'm like, well, why didn't I think of this before? Oh, because I was told my whole life to just walk away.
When Matthew Shepard happened, how old were you? Because that was a while back now. You had to be early teens, if that.
Oh, I was too young to know about Matthew Shepard in real time. Like I learned about it later. Yeah, but Glinda, what I'm trying to say is that was it strategic in 1969? Because I think it just happened, right? Like they just all. What's that?
It was when the cops came in because they had been horrible things had happened to them. They came in because at the time they couldn't have on more than like 3 things that were of the opposite sex clothing. So they couldn't have that on, and they had been abused, basically mugged. The cops would come in and take their money, do whatever they wanted to them. And nobody did anything. Nobody stood up. And finally they were like, I'm done. This is happening. We're going to throw down.
Right. But like, I mean, it was also being LGBTQ plus in the 60s. Like I just, and also having Stonewall already happen. I don't subscribe to sometimes it takes time to get strategic. Why aren't we embedded with strategy? And the reason why I think is because especially millennials were, as a generation, raised to just ignore it and it'll go away. Walk away. They're really the ones that are hurt. Like, yeah, no, Glinda, I agree with everything that you're saying. But I mean, in the meantime, though, when when we have cops coming into our spaces to bully and harass and take pictures and ruin lives. I think strategy needs to go out the window, and I think beer bottles need to start being thrown. I think it comes down to that.
Well, here's the thing too. What people need to be doing too is all of those police officers who were involved in that, start searching, because I guarantee you're going to find Grindr and all these different. You're going to find some of them, and when it happens, oh, you went in on these. You went in on the gay bars. You did this. Well, looky here, bud. Look what we found of you. This is what we found. Absolutely. I'm
tired of like the loudest voices right now should be like LGBTQ cops and ally cops, and like just as per usual, nobody says anything. You know what I'm saying? And also like it's not just cops too, it's just allies in general. Like straight people need to be talking about this and need to like keeping these cops accountable.
Mike, do you mind me asking, because I don't think I've ever asked you, what industry do you work in?
Healthcare.
Okay. Are you in, because I'm a registered nurse. I don't know what you do.
So I will tell you in private what I do. People usually think that I'm either a doctor or a nurse. And as long as they don't know exactly, then I just let them think one or the other.
I think that you're a prostitute porn star. That's just me, though. I just don't know for sure.
So my husband wants me to go only. But this house isn't done, and I have this like thing about like having a nice background, and also I need to like get a little bit more ripped before I do that. But yeah, I mean, I'm turning 40 next year, and I have goals.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna tell you, this is something that I tell people. You know, you see these guys get on here like what's his name? He's really ripped, and he gets on here and that's all he does is walk around without a shirt on, and he million views, that kind of stuff. I can't remember his name right now. But anyway,
you're not supposed to.
I would rather people who are cut, that you see all the six pack and you see every muscle fiber and all this kind of stuff in them. That's not as pretty to me. I mean, it's just.
It's probably me neither, but like I have it, like I'm already brainwashed. Like I don't have that expectation for other people. I just have it for me. I don't body shame other people, but I do body shame myself. Dude. And that's never going to go away because that is so embedded in me.
You did the video where you did the little dance in a circle. You remember which one I'm talking about?
When I made the helicopter.
And here's the thing. I will tell you this. I'm in Alabama. It's not like I'm trying to find a way to hook up or anything. Because I'll tell you, if I think somebody is pretty, I tell them. But that's about everybody. I see a woman, I go, oh my God, you're gorgeous. You know, you tell people who are pretty. And you are. I've sat and showed my husband before, like videos of yours, and go, is he not just adorable? Look at him.
Oh, I know. But I also like. So here's the thing about that video that I made. It was mostly because it was, what's his name, Jim Robertson or whatever, the Pat Robertson, the guy, the very uber religious guy that has been horrible to us. Yeah. He finally unalived. Yeah. I wanted to show his family how much I was celebrating that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to show it in the most not straight way as possible. I really wanted to rub it in their faces that their beloved homophobe was gone forever. And so for that reason, like I kind of like priorities, right? Like I might not love the way my body looks, but like I also love rubbing the unaliving of homophobes in the faces of their loved ones. So like that's why I made that video.
I can kind of see that. Yeah. I will say this, and this is a discussion that we've had plenty of times, especially with people in my friend group. I am so glad that social media didn't exist back then, because here's why. If social media had existed back then and video evidence of things that I know people have done, I probably wouldn't have been allowed to be a nurse or have a license, or there's a lot of stuff.
So that's kind of what I like. That's kind of what so what, back to what you were saying, there was a person named Tiffany. I don't know if they're still around, but they had a list of liberal medical professionals that once they found out what they did and what state they lived in, they were calling those states those licensures and getting them in trouble. I was on Tiffany's list, but she could never tell if I was either a nurse or a doctor. So I never got any of the things, or be able to be TW freely. Hi, James. Follow James, everybody. He's fantastic.
I might know James.
If you're phonophiles like me, like you're turned on by people's voices, his voice is like...
Oh, I have heard him. I have heard him. Okay. I've done something here. All right. Okay.
But so that's why I don't say what I do publicly, because I don't want Tiffany's making my life harder. But I would say that if I ever got, there isn't actually a way to get in trouble for any of that. You can always challenge that, and it's in your practice framework to be like more sex positive than not. So if your employer is harming you, you can use your practice framework to say like you can't like let me go because of this, because this is you hire people like me, and this is in our practice framework. Like your discrimination is not allowed
here,
and it becomes more of a headache. Like, even if it becomes more of a court of public opinion kind of thing, but it becomes a headache because like it just becomes a headache for them, and I'm up for that challenge.
Here in Alabama, our labor laws lean so heavily towards the employer. This is no joke. I got fired because I had a faux hawk. I'd never had a write-up, never had anything wrong. We went to the barbershop, and one of my sons got a mohawk, and the other one got a faux hawk. And it was where they, lighten your hair on the side and darken it on the top, so it kind of looks like a mohawk without being a mohawk. So I did it. I got pulled in and let go because of that, and there was nothing I could do.
Yeah, this Linda person is really annoying the hell out of me. Who needs the grief though? It's about like standing up for yourself as who you are.
Or who we are, yeah.
So like the reason why, Glinda, clearly the reason why I have to fight these fights now are because people like you didn't do it when you should have. Like you just kind of went along with the flow, and look at where we are now in society. So. Yeah, maybe if you did something, I wouldn't have to do so much, Glinda.
Well,
anyway,
for us too, if
that
somebody
that sucks about the faux hawk though.
Yeah,
I can't speak to like I've never lived in the South, but I feel like it's a weird concept to me that you would treat patients with faux hawks and then get fired for having one, and then have your place of employment. How did your place of employment sort of like justify? We don't judge patients for this, but we judge.
It was against the dress code. Against the dress code for nurses. It was against the dress code. There were women.
Let's follow that thinking. What does the dress? Why do we have a dress code?
Because so that they can control what they want to control and how they want to control it.
So we look a certain way, right? Like, so we look a certain way, so we have a dress code. So, because if we look away with a mohawk, that's bad. That's something to be judged. But here we have a patient with a mohawk, and we're not going to judge them. That doesn't, like, it just, the trail doesn't trail.
Well, it's one of those that.
Glenda, we never stop pushing. So either keep pushing or just like get out. I don't mean out of this live. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we never stop pushing. And the idea that you think you should because you just like aged out of it, you never age out of it, Glenda. Like, you're the problem. Well, God, I can't stand people like you. Oh.
We've got people here. I've had report like this. Okay. Jeff, you're going to have room 23, 24, and 25. The girl in 23 just had open heart. The colored guy in 24, he had, and you know how they are. So you'll need to kind of watch how you do the medicines. And I'm like, the first patient that I had to deal with who had HIV. Now this was in 2000s. This was not in the 80s. In the 2000s, nurses were walking in the room in hazmats, double gloving, and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, what are y'all doing? Well, he's got the AIDS. Well, first of all, it's not the AIDS, it's AIDS. Secondly, no, he doesn't. He's HIV positive. So why are you doing that? Well, I don't want it. Well, okay, then you need to stop living because you need to go away because this man, he's got some. No, you don't have to do that. Don't walk up and cut his arm and start drinking on him like you're a vampire. You'll be good. Walking in and saying, hey, and here's your medicine. You don't need to be in a hazmat suit. So yeah, we always had crazy stuff happen.
That's fucked up. I don't know if Glenda's still in here, but I just want to let her know that I screenshotted what she said because I'm going to drag her later on my own video. Because, like, I honestly, like, I don't know. Are you considered Gen X or Boomer?
Dude. No, I'm Gen X. Okay.
Boomers drive me nuts because of exactly, like, the way of thinking that Glenda just like, oh, it's your turn. Bitch, it's never not your responsibility. Like, you're an adult. Until the day you're no longer here, you're supposed to be doing the pushing. And so I just want to let her know that in advance that I will be using her comment that she had posted publicly to point out that she is in fact terrible.
It's just, I mean, are we going to say, I don't believe in child abuse, but I stood there and watched him beat the hell out of that kid because, I mean, it was somebody else's turn to step in. I stepped in the last time somebody was beating a kid, so it's your turn now. You're not going to do it, well, I guess that kid's about to get beat. It's this, I mean, that's an extreme to another extreme, but it's the same mentality as you fight for each other. Damn it. I'm not a woman. I do not have ovaries. I have all the parts of a male. I identify as a male. I am a male, period. But I will fight for a woman over their body as well because it's their body. It's them. It's their rights. There's a lot of things that I do believe in, a lot of things I don't believe in, but you can't. I mean, it's stupid. I'm not going to sit back and go, well, I don't have ovaries. So it's not really my business.
It's not my fight. Yeah, like that's the weirdest thing for people to say is like, I support you, but it's not my fight.
Yeah.
It is your fight. If you say you support, yeah, no, for sure. Like, women's rights are our fight.
Like, yeah. I mean, I will say this. as a nurse, now I've never worked in a place where because I didn't work OB, I didn't do things like that. So I never had to do or deal with abortions or things like that. I mean, it was just not in my area of medicine. I've delivered one baby, never want to do that again. And it was not planned. I delivered an emergency baby. However, I had to deal with a friend of mine who is Catholic, and we got a patient come in one night, and it was just me and her there. And this woman had had an abortion, but it had not completed, and it was hard on her body because of what she was going through. And it was really tearing her up because Catholic, they don't even believe in protection and everything. So it was really killing her. And I told her, I said, listen, I'll take her as a patient. She said, no. She said, I'm not going at it like that. I'm not going saying, oh, she's, this was an abortion, I can't have anything to do with it. That's my patient. I'm going to take care of my patient. She cried because of what happened, but she didn't do it in front of the patient. That patient she treated like she was a queen and took excellent care of her. And so I respected her so much after that, because it was something that went completely against her belief. But she said, that's my patient. I'm going to take care of my patient. And she did. She got in there and took care of her. And that patient would have never knew what her opinion was on abortions or anything like that. It was never brought up. We were there to take care of her. That's it. I had to take care of people before that. I've taken care of a man who they brought in because he was a drunk driver and he killed a couple of people. They had him there. We had the prison contract, so we took care of the prisoners. Yeah. He is there chained to the bed. I took care of him.
I just have this. I have a similar situation right now in the ICU.
Mm-hmm. It's tough. Now. Okay. Well,
it isn't. It isn't. It's just like you just sort of like.
Yeah, it's almost compartmental. You shut down part of it and you be professional and you do your job. One time, and it was karma. I don't care what anybody says, because I swear to you, I didn't do it. We had a prisoner come in. I used to tell them when they would bring them in, please don't tell me what they did. I don't want to know. They're just prisoner. That's all I need to know. Well, he came in. He was garbage. Okay. I'm down there putting a Foley in him, and he's making obscene comments to me. I'm thinking, dude, I've got you in one hand and something that I could or could not use lube on in the other. Okay. You're probably going to want to treat me good. But anyway, I've never seen this before, never seen it since. Inserted the Foley, and I tested the balloon. Balloon was great. Deflated it, inserted the Foley, deflated the balloon, got the flash of urine, set to go. Come back. He's going, I've got to go. I can't go. Filling. He is filling up. There's nothing coming out of the Foley. So I go over, get the syringe. I pull back on it. It will not deflate. The balloon will not deflate. Other nurses come in there pulling on it. Well, we were taught if in an emergency situation, something like that happened, you could cut it and it would release. Cut it, nothing. It just nothing. Well, he is cussing us, doing all this. Not our fault. There's something happened. The balloon, when the Foley went in, it's got that little nub, and the balloon fills up down here, so the nub is right, on the top. Yeah. Somehow it folded back over and went in through the urethra like this, the balloon, and it pinched the top and the bottom. It wouldn't let it.
So it can't.
It
blew up, and the more it kinked itself.
Yeah.
That's karma.
Oh,
that's karma.
No. Here's karma. I had to go to surgery and get a spinal tap needle. The doctor had to come in and inserted it at the base, between the base and the buddies. I'm not going to say terms on here. And had to go in through and pop the balloon and it come out. So he had to go through everything To get
Wait.
to it.
Like, do you mean like through the spongy at the base or at the head?
At the base. At the base.
Okay,
So like
So,
lay
like-
back like
so,
this.
like,
The buddies are
you know,
here.
So wait, you know that our stuff is made of like a spongy tissue, so that it engorges and it.
Uh-huh.
So he had to go through that kind of tissue to pop it.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
and when every male nurse, male CNA, male doctor, except for the surgeon, is sitting there with their legs crossed, going, "Oh Jesus, woo, Lord!" And I'm sitting there thinking, "Bitch, that was every bit you. That was the universe going." So after it was over, because he had told me at one point while I was down there, he goes, "While you're down there, why don't you take care of some business for me?" So after all this was over and I was cleaning him up, I went, "While I'm down here, do you need anything else?" And he was like, "No, I'm good." I said, "Okay, cool."
I hate that while you're down there.
Yeah.
What a pig.
Yeah. Oh, it was. He was garbage. He was garbage. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He is garbage. You run into it in healthcare, just the ranges from the best to the worst.
I don't get I say this now and watch it be like watch it not be true the next time I go in. But I'm not able to get triggered by patients. What I get triggered by is not being supported when patients are awful.
Oh yeah.
Like I could have an awful patient and like I have a very good professional way of giving it back without it being unprofessional or unright. Like, you know what I mean? But what I get really uppity about is when my supervisors, or if my supervisors aren't supporting me. But I'm also like, honestly, like, here's the thing. Like, I lost my family to homophobia. Like I lost my whole entire, like, no contact and everything. And since then, it has been horrific, but also liberating. Like, I have no more fucks to give about things. So, like, I don't, there's a liberation to losing your entire life before, to the point where, like I just say what I just say what I intend to say now to my supervisors, and the things that I say, I think, make them very uncomfortable, not because they're just uncomfortable, but because they're true. And so I think I've just created a way with a lot of my supervisors that, like, it's just going to go better for you if you support me. Like, it's just going to go better for you if you support me, if you let me do my thing within my professional realm, and you support me and not their, like, hateful rhetoric. Like, if I feel like I'm not being supported by you, it's going to go bad for you. And it has for them. It has.
Well, I have to say right now, especially with everything that's going on with us, I'm absolutely lucky. I've got one of the best jobs I've truly ever had. I work from home. So I'm up on the mornings. I call my patients. I do assessments over the phone. I work from home. And so I have met one of my coworkers since I've worked for this company. I've met one. And because we went to a training and then we were back home. My company is good. Like, I call them and say, "Hey, my computer is acting kind of strange." Next thing I know, I've got a brand new computer setting there. They sent me a new monitor. It's never been an issue like that. They send me sometimes too much. Like, they'll send me supplies and I'm like, I thank you, but I'm running out of space because I just don't. So I'm really, really lucky, but I still have the same kind of thing here. I'm real good with malicious compliance. Be careful what you ask me or tell me, because I will follow it to a T. I had somebody tell me that my charting, and don't come from my charting, okay? Just I'm old school. I'm old longhand charting. Don't come from my charting. Just don't. So I'm good at charting. I mean, charting saved us from Jaco when they came through one time because of the baby I delivered, because it wasn't supposed to be there. It was not supposed to happen. So my charting and 2 other nurses saved the hospital from getting fined for the nurses. Nurses were found fault-free. So don't come from my nurse. I had one of them say, well, I don't think your charting is in-depth enough. I said, bet. Okay. I got you. A week later, she called me and she goes, you can kind of scroll back on it a little bit, because I was then turning in where I was having like a page, because I do some cut and paste of different information that I'll put in my charting that I've covered. No, man. Oh, no. The next time she goes, you had 8 pages of charting that I had to review on each patient. I said, oh, yeah. Don't you remember? You said you needed a little bit more detail. She said, you gave me definitions of words. I wanted to make sure that you knew. I mean, what if I used a word that was confusing? I wanted to make sure you knew it. So I put the definition there, and then I put the reference of what dictionary I got it from, because you needed to know that too. That's what
people don't know what we're capable of, like, for sure. I have another job where there's a person who is very passive aggressive to all of us, and I'm the newest one, and it's also not my primary job, so it's just like something that I do on the side. I'm not married to this job. I could lose it at any time, and it's relatively fine. So her passive aggressive tone with me wasn't like, I didn't really care.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter one way or the other, but then it didn't but then it started to affect like I just allowed her passive aggressive stuff to keep coming, and then she started treat like not giving me what I needed and stuff. So I finally handled it, and she and I put her in her place while also like copying the rest of our team, so that, because everybody else had an issue with her as well. Like my colleague like called me and they were like, wow, I can't believe like you said that, like, thank you, nobody's been saying that. And I'm like, I don't think she understood, like, she's talking to a gay man from Philly, like the fact that I haven't said anything has just been a kindness. Like I don't have to be kind. Anyway, so she sent me a response back that was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, blah blah blah. And she was like, I reject and I deny and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, basically like my response back to her was that I said, listen, I took a lot of time in pointing out that it were your statements. I was not accusing you as a person. I was saying that your statements were reading this way. And I really wanted to separate you from the statements that you were making. Moving forward, just to let you know, I've already moved on. Have a nice day. And I haven't heard back.
Well, I'm one of these people. Okay, before I was a nurse, I was a financial programmer. I programmed computers. I did it for a while. So I became very detail oriented when it came to certain things. Now I have something called it's a perpetual notebook. All throughout the day, you call me. Hey, can you send an email to such and such? Yeah. Can you send an email to such? I write it down because I'm not going to do it immediately. I write it down. I'll do it. So I've got my notebook. I've had somebody say, that's not what I said. Oh, hold up. What day was that? Okay, hold on. Oh, no, hold on. Let me get the other volume. No, it's in this one. Okay. No. Look, if you'll see here, when we were talking, we just got back from lunch, and you said, and I'll tell them verbatim what they said. And I was, and this is what we agreed to. Remember? And they're like, you know, you don't have to do that. Oh, I do. I do. I had a company once who tried to, I was the regional nurse, and my last day was on a Wednesday at noon. Okay. I was the regional nurse. I had stepped in as the director of nurses because their director of nurses quit. It was very rural. We couldn't find another one. Well, my last day, I was leaving at noon. Well, at 11:45, the staff development nurse, who I told them not to hire because she was an idiot, hired a nurse that did not have an Alabama license. Okay. 11:45. Well, it came back on the facility, and the facility was like, "Oh, well, okay, Jeff was the director of nurses at that time." So the board of nurses calls me, and I get, just wanted to let you know your license is under investigation. Whoa, wait, what? So I'm on the phone with them. What do you mean? Well, because they said on such and such date you did this. What date? Hold up. No, sir. Look here. I left at 12 o'clock that day. I was not a party to that. By the way, they're saying that I was the director of nurses. No, sir, I was not. There was never a job description under my name that said director of nurses. I was the regional nurse. I stepped in, but I did not have the job description of director of nurses. So I never signed anything that said I was the director of nurses. All of mine was regional, which did not cover anything like that. I cleared my stuff up in 5 minutes. I had the investigator actually tell me, I've never had an investigation go that quick. I said, well, don't play. I mean, I keep my stuff. I know exactly. Don't do that. And so, yeah, I mean, we cleared it up real quick. I will sling out a note in a heartbeat. Wait a minute, baby, no. In banking, I was the reason. I don't know if y'all had AmSouth Bank. Probably not. We had an AmSouth Bank here, and I was one of the regional vice presidents and for Foreign Trust Administration. Well, I never had to deal with anybody. I came from my car, went to my floor. We never interacted with anybody, but there was a dress code, tie, shirt, that kind of stuff. I wore a short sleeve shirt one day because it was hot. Still had a tie, but short sleeve shirt. My director called me in and went off on me, told me that is not professional. You will not wear that dress code. I went, okay. So I pulled out the dress code. The dress code said dress shoes, dress socks, slacks, dress shirt, and tie. That was the full dress code. Oh, baby. The next day I came in, I had a brown shoe on, a black shoe on, a green sock, a purple sock, orange trousers, red shirt, a god-awful polka dot tie that I have no idea where it came from. I came in, he came out and go, wait a minute, you're not coming in. I went, why? He goes, dress code. I said, read it. Read me the dress code. So read the dress code. I said, tell me what violates it. What do you say that violates it? It took a month. They had to they rewrote the entire dress code because of me. But I told him, I said, it was hot. I just wanted to be cool. So I wore something short sleeve instead of rolling my sleeves up, which was allowed. And you wanted to have a problem with it. So, okay. You said go by the dress code. I did, to the letter.
Yes.
So,
yeah, malicious compliance.
Absolutely.
It's like we love that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we were doing malicious compliance way before there was even a term for it, because that's why they called us bitches. Because I'm like, straight up, yeah.
Well, treat us like equals, and then you won't get that.
Amen. I'm not playing it.
Also, if you just treat us like equals, we wouldn't have like the creativity that we have that will always best you. Like, straight people think that they're like, we're always gonna best them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you know, it was a guy that I worked with at the bank, the reason why I came out, because I was straight. Okay, when I worked at the bank, I was straight. So, and I had a friend of mine who was gay. I knew he was gay. He knew I knew he was gay. I never said anything about a problem with it, nothing like that. We just never even talked about it. Now, he was gorgeous. I mean, he's the kind of guy that you looked at and just, what did you say? I'm sorry, you said something. What was it you said? I was not really paying attention, because he was so pretty. Well, he asked me one day, he said, "Hey, you've got a truck and I've got to move a dresser. Could you help me?" And I said, "Absolutely, I don't mind." So I went over there. It was like on a Saturday, helped him move the dresser. He said, "I'm going to get us dinner. Okay." I'm like, "You don't have to." He goes, "I mean, it's just like McDonald's, but I'll get us dinner." I said, "Oh, that's fine." So he got us something. We went back, and it was when this was it was in the early or the late 90s, and the Simpsons were kind of still new. And he said he loved the Simpsons. He goes, "I know it's goofy, but you want to watch it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I love stuff like that." I said, "We sit there and watched it."
Did you guys fuck?
We were sitting on his bed, and he we got finished the thing, Simpsons went off, we were laughing, and he reached across, and because I was over here and he was reaching on the bedside table. And I was like, okay, and I kind of leaned back, and he got right here in the front of me, and he leaned in and gave me a kiss. First time I'd ever been kissed by a man. He kissed me, and the first thing I thought was, oh my God, I'm getting kissed by a guy. But the second thing I thought was, holy shit, that's what this is supposed to feel like.
Right? Oh, so this was your first?
Yes. I was like,
yeah, that's so great. Yes. Yeah. That's the feeling.
It was like, holy crap.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to be thinking, oh, when is this going to be over? When are we going to stop? Have we done it long enough yet? I've kissed her long enough. It's over.
So this wasn't my first time doing something with somebody, but similar situation. I got saved in youth group when I was 16, saved. And as you'll hear in that podcast, if you ever listen to it.
I'm going to definitely listen to it, yeah.
Basically, I got saved the same day I got saved. My best friend, or he wasn't my best friend at the time, but another guy got saved, and we happened to go to the same high school, and I didn't really know him, but we became best friends after that. The church kind of indoctrinated us to be twin brothers in the Lord.
Yeah.
So we started messing around a couple months later. That was my first time doing anything, but like there was this one night where like the first couple of times it was all handsy stuff, and like there was nothing with our mouths.
Yeah.
But like when we started getting comfortable with stuff and we started kissing and doing stuff with our mouths, and it was just more like engulf, like we were just taking each other in.
Yeah.
I remember thinking, this is a school night. We're starting at 11:45. I need to go home to bed, but this feels so good that we're just going to do it for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so we're like making out, and it was the same exact thing that you had. We were doing other stuff too, but like,
I never said we weren't doing other stuff. I just said the kissing part. Yeah. So.
But like, I literally saw fireworks.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this is what they sing about. This is what that's supposed to like. Yeah. This is what it's supposed to feel like. Oh my God. And so like 45 minutes go by or whatever, and like I'm like, I don't want this to end, but like I guess we have to, so let's start getting close to finishing up. And I look at the clock, and it's 5:45. It went from 11:45 to 5:45, and I thought it was just 45 minutes that went by. It was the craziest. It was. Did I just say all of this in front of your child?
No.
Okay. It was the craziest experience at that point in my life. I was 16, so was he, and it was this is what that's supposed to feel like. This is what they sing about. This is all of that.
It was one of those because I'd had girlfriends. I was living the way the Lord wanted me to, so I had girlfriends, and we would kiss because I had one she was very into kissing, but I'd be kissing and I would think, okay, we've done this long enough now. We should, we can stop because what, a couple of minutes, we're done. It was always that. It was always in my mind, okay, well, all right, next, what we doing? What we going to do? But when he did it, and it wasn't the fact that like I wasn't in love, it was the fact that it was everything that went with it all at the same time. And it was literally an explosion because it was a kiss. And it was like everything crashed into your brain at the same time. It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah, yes, it was like, yes, absolutely. I forget what I was gonna say. It was I agree with you. It was like when you're younger, I don't know, everything is like so much more exciting, and it was I totally forget what I was gonna say about that, but it was
it's past your it's past your bedtime. Come on.
I'm finna cut my child. I'll be in there in a minute.
Come on, hurry up.
But no, it's exactly that. It is exactly that. And here's the thing with my kids, and because I've told my kids the same thing of how I knew that I was gay. I always knew. I mean, there was never a time in my life that I didn't know that I was attracted to men, that I didn't know. But you never said it. If you said it, it was true. If you didn't say it, it wasn't true.
Oh my God. Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Because like in Bible college, the reason why we were all able to circle pray with each other was because it's not gay if you don't call it it's not gay if you're not gay. Yeah. Like you're just helping each other out.
Yeah.
But I remember what I was gonna say, like back when I was doing that with my friend, I was also dating the pastor's daughter. And she was like really wanting to like lose her virginity.
Oh yeah.
And like all that stuff. And I'm like, no, God, we have to be
pious.
Yeah, we have to wait till marriage.
That's right.
Cindy, we have to wait for marriage. Meanwhile, like I'm saying goodnight to her while I'm
Well, you're not waiting for marriage on the other one. Yeah. But it was truly that, because I can remember the first time I said I'm gay. And that was when he kissed me. Because when he was kissing me, I went, I could not imagine going and like kissing or finding a girl and kissing a girl at that point. It was like, I can't go back. I can't go back now, because it was so spectacular. And I even told him later on, years later, we were still friends after a long time. I told him, I said, you don't understand what you did. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, and I told him the story. He said, I was the first person you ever kissed. I went, yeah. And I told him, I said, and in that moment, I knew. And I said, you will hold a special place in my heart forever because of that. Because there was a switch that flipped in my mind that allowed me to start thinking that I could be who I was. That there were people out there who didn't hide. He's the one, I was telling you about the Spaceship Europa, the bar that I went to. He's the one who took me there. When I was straight, he took me there. And here in Birmingham, which is an oddity, we have a bar here that's a 24-hour bar. It's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. It never closes. They turn the light on at about 6 o'clock in the morning to kind of sweep. Do not be there when the light comes on. Okay, don't be, because you see the floor, you see people you've been dancing with all night. All of a sudden, you're standing there dancing with like a model, just gorgeous, and all of a sudden those lights come on, and you go, oh my, oh hey, how you doing? But yeah.
Do you have any House of Baths there?
Not in Birmingham. Or well, there was a couple. There was a private one at one time. There was in Atlanta, which Birmingham. Atlanta is the gay mecca of the Southeast. That's where everybody moved from Birmingham and different places when they came out and wanted to live. Instead of going to San Francisco, they went to Atlanta. So there was in Atlanta, and there were the different. There were some that was they were, but it was more of it was more of a private kind of thing. And then there was others that you walked in and you went, like the first time I walked into one, it was like, there's no way this is happening. There's no way this is happening right here. I didn't think, how does he stretch like that? That's amazing, So
there's one left in Philly. There were two, but this summer one of them burned down. So there's just one left, and I feel like it's home. In a way, I don't know. I feel like there's never been more authenticity.
Yeah.
Than I've never been in a situation full of other people that are as authentic as they are there.
Yeah. Oh, you know how we were talking about earlier about the straight people who are gay and they're okay. Because that being said, we don't have a bathhouse here in Birmingham, but there's bookstores, and the bookstores have the little movie rooms you can go into that's supposed to be a single person, but all of a sudden there's a peephole, so it's amazing to me that you go into places like that and there's so many people that come in there like that. But because I went in once, I was buying what was it? I was buying somebody a wedding gift, and it was a toy. So I had gone there. I'd never been to this one before, and a friend of mine took me there, and I was like, I've never been here before. This is kind of like, what all is in here? What's all in here? He goes, well, come here and let me show you this. And he goes to this little room. Now, honestly, at this time, I did not know what this little room was for. Okay. Really did. He said, let me show you this. So we go open the door and we go into this room. And I go, what do you, do you come in here with people? He goes, well, you can, but you can watch a movie. And he put like a quarter in a machine or something. And I'm like, well, that just doesn't seem cost efficient, to put a quarter in there. What? Hello. And you look down and all of a sudden you got a friend popping through the keyhole. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
that's never been my thing, but, good for whoever that's into that. I will say that there's, in Philly, there's a monthly party.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly all ages show up, but for the most part, it's like people my age and younger that show up to the House of Baths when this monthly party happens. And so the first time I was exposed to this party, I did not know.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened to be because I had gone to see a concert that was ironically a favorite of me and my first, like the guy that I was talking about earlier. Him and I did not part well. I was in his wedding and she did not like me and she got in between us, and we were friends for almost 20 years and then it had to end. You can hear about it in the podcast. But anyway, our favorite band came to close to town. So I went by myself and I got to hear all of our old songs and stuff. And it was like kind of nostalgic and sad. Yeah. And on my way home, I'm like, I don't want to go home yet. So I called my husband. I was like, do you mind if I stay out all night? I feel like I just need to sew some oats. So he was like, no, go ahead. And I figured because it was a Saturday night, it was going to be a busier night at the place. I did not know that it was the night of the monthly party. It's called Communion. but it's like union.
Yeah.
And so I got there right before, like about 20 minutes before everything popped off. And when I say everything popped off, I mean people lining up around the block, because there was at least 500 dudes.
Damn.
And so when I say except, like, I had to, like, I was not mentally prepared for what I endeavored in that night. It was excessive, and I was in a situation where I have never, it puts Caligula to shame. Like I never saw so many men at once in one room. And it was I didn't partake. In fact, I just sat and watched. I never was a voyeur before, but that night I was, because I was just like, I was like in awe, like, and also I was kind of like in my feels because of like what I had just gone through. So it was a very much like observing night. And I did have like some fun, but like most of it was just me just sort of taking it in. But I can tell you that like I have never before that been in a situation where I had seen so much at once. It was, I don't even know how to describe the amounts of what I saw. It was.
Well, hey, Alpha.
There were horsey, like, you know, the like in construction, the horses.
Yes.
There were those things that like have like sort of like attachments that you mount.
Yes.
And then there were swings. And the chair that I was sitting in was like directly across from a wall that just had mirrors, and it called itself a dark room, but there was like, you could see, I've been in dark rooms. This was not like a pitch black, like you could see things, but like I watched myself sitting in this chair, like, and I liked what I saw because like it was just, the lighting was giving, and people were coming over to me, and I just was like, no, because it was too dark to really see their face, and I'm not really into, like, I need to see your face. So it's just, but like people, but I liked watching myself through the mirror be like, no. And the amount of people that like, because I like where I was sitting was right by the swings, and like the dude in the swing closest to me like kept asking me to get up and like help him out. Push the swing. And I was like, no. Later, I ended up talking to him, and it all worked out so fine. But like, I got to see his face and everything, and like so it was fine. But like at the time, I was like, no, and there was like so much power in the no.
Oh yeah, been there. No joke. Years ago, back when I was young and you know, not quite as ugly, I was. We went to a party in New Orleans, and I had
at the Eagle.
It was there and another bar too. So
or not the Eagle, the Phoenix.
We were there, and I had somebody asked, because I was dancing on the dance floor with some people and everything. We, friends were all over the place, and a guy came over and took me by the hand and took me over to a speaker, and stood me up on speaker. And I'm like, I have no idea what you want me to do. He goes, dance, and I'm like, what? He goes, just dance. So I danced and had people coming up, like tucking ones and 20, you know, in just my, I just didn't have a shirt on. That was it. No shirt. I just had shirt, pants, tucking money in. And I would have some of them like try to get really friendly or something like that. And do the, no. There is that. Yeah. It makes you be more of the, no, I'm good. Thank you. It gives you a power. It gives you a superpower. I actually have to run. I have loved sitting here talking to you. I really have. So anytime you see me on, please come in and say hi.
Sounds good. Thank you for letting me talk to you for so long.
Oh,
I've
dear
been wanting
God,
to see you
no.
for a while. So
Well, anytime. I love chatting. I sent you a message. So as a reminder. So I will talk to you later. Love you to pieces. You have a good night.
yeah, you too. I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.
Oh, Robert. Oh, Robert, you better get your ass in here.